Sandra all the time is here with a cold heart true. She's the ears and the eyes for me and you. Every day, everyone want to hear from Sandra. And every time on the air, she's getting better. Tell your sister, tell your brother, tell your mama, call Sandra in the morning and in the evening. They always calling Sandra. And when they start fighting, they calling Sandra. And
That's right, folks. Everyone is telling their mama about the cold hard truth. Welcome to another episode with more truth-telling, more problem-solving, and of course, more tea spilling than ever before. Sit back, students, grab your tea and turn up the volume because class is now in session. Call in at 936-2626 because your voice matters. Share your opinion on issues that matter the most to you.
People talking. What are they talking about? This world's gone crazy, and I'm trying to find a way out. Nobody knows where we're going, or if It's a singing symphony, playing as the ship goes down. It's a porcelain epiphany, breaking if it hits the ground. I gotta find a way out. Questions answered without an answer to tell. Too many things on my mind for anything to go well. It's a singing symphony, playing as the ship goes down. It's a porcelain epiphany, breaking if it hits the ground. I gotta find a way out. Oh, it's a singing symphony, playing as the ship goes down. It's a porcelain epiphany, breaking if it hits the ground. I gotta find a way out.
Good morning, K-Man. Rise and shine. I see you guys are moving kind of slow this morning, honey child. That's okay. I know it's Monday. Yes, I know how Mondays work. You kind of feel like, oh man, do I really have to get up, Sandy? Is there no other plan? Do I have to go to work? And the answer is yes. I feel your pain. Trust me. Some mornings you're just like, can I just sleep in a little bit longer? And duty calls, folks, duty calls. So good morning to everybody. How's everyone doing? We're going to be talking about those thieves over the weekend. Shocking bit of footage that we received. So we're going to pull that up here in a little bit. What else have we got on the agenda? We have a couple announcements to make. Unfortunately, people who've passed away. So sad. Our condolences to all of the families. And what else we got going on this morning? We're going to do a little recap of the weekend. So yeah, it was not too bad of a weekend, right? I think most people scrape by, and here we are. So I'm going to get the footage here in a second of the thieves. Where did I put that one now? Don't worry, honey child. We're going to talk about them this morning. All right, so let's do roll call. Hope that everybody, again, had a relatively safe weekend. Let me just see here now. I'm going to, let me see if I can find the video footage of these girls stealing. Man, I don't know what to say, quite honestly, about some of our people. Boy, we are, honey child, we got to do better. I mean, it's such a disgrace, really. But anyway, let's do roll call before we get to that. And a big shout out to all of our listeners who join us on a regular basis from both in Cayman and obviously outside of the Cayman Islands as well. We have some amazing people following the program all over the world. So I'm going to get some pictures of these young ladies. Apparently you guys know who they are, and we're going to talk about it here in just a second. Also have some footage of a car somebody sent doing some very dangerous things Quite shocking, actually. The chances y'all take on the roadways, knowing that we have 63 accidents per week. Is this per week or per month? Anyway, it's a lot. Yes, honey, chill. All right, let me see what go on. Who is here? Shaka Zulu. Good morning to you, darling. So good to see you. Says good morning, Auntie Sandy and the CMR fam. Happy Monday. Yes, happy Monday. Everton is here with us. Miss Morna, how are you? Pleasant good morning to Evelyn. Jennifer Bod in the house. Good morning, Jennifer. How are you doing? Andy's here, joining all the way from La Ceiba. Wagwan. Negra Pula. Good morning. Buenos dias. Felicia Rankin in the house. Marshall from North Carolina. Miss Sanya. Hey, Miss Sanya. I've not seen your beautiful face in a minute. So good to see you. Everton, no technical problem. I was just sorting out a few things. Blake and Aaron are on holiday. So they try to, I think what they do over there, because they're a tag team, a tag duo, is they try to take like one person takes off a week and then the other person, so that normally at least one of the two of them are there. But I understand that today there was a little bit of an overlap because Aaron was out last week and then Blake is off this week. So today was their overlap day. So no news over in 106, but that's okay. No live news. Alba, good morning to you. She says, buenos dias, Sandy. ¿Cómo estás? Estoy muy bien. Evelyn is here. Says, good morning, Auntie Sandy. Hello to Miss Stephanie Brooks. Damaris is in the house. Hilda is here. Roni is here. Good morning. Carnith. I'm hoping I get that correct. Good morning, sunshine. Miss Juliet, good morning to you. Kat, Siobhan. Wee, lots of usual suspects. Damien, it's like roll call. These are all the regular students in class. Robert, good morning. Shaka Zulu says, is the spelling of thieves intentionally misspelled on today's show? Probably not. I was doing this late into the night. No, definitely not intentional. Oh my gosh, I'll fix that after the show. Yeah, that should, I'm so sorry. Yeah, sometimes I'm scheduling the show into the wee hours, and that was the case last night before heading off to bed. I've been enthralled in this novel. Oh my gosh, I've been enthralled in this kind of novel and reading it, and it's such a scam. But I want to see like what happens. So I've been unable to like stop reading it. It's one of those things that it pops up on your Facebook feed and they give you a little snippet and then you're like, oh, I want to see what else happened. And, next thing you know, you're knee deep and then they keep charging you by the chapters and you need so many coins. It's such a scam. It is such a scam. But anyway, I want to figure out the mysteries and what happens. And so I just keep like a fool. I just keep reading and keep topping up. Oh my God, I feel so stupid because I totally know, when you know you're being scammed and you're like, I want to know what's going to happen to Chloe and what's the connection with her memory loss and her relationship with Atlas. And my goodness. So I have I'm up every night reading into the wee hours. Oh my goodness. Okay, so then her friend was kidnapped, and then it's because she was cheating with this guy whose wife, that's the problem, is a little bit cray-cray. And so she like put her in the bottom of a barrel. Oh, honey child, these novels, ridiculous, but so salacious. And the funny thing is, normally I don't fall for these type of novels because I'm not really a fictional reader as such, but this one has got me hook, line, and sinker, honey child. Good. They are very, very addictive. After this, I'm not reading anymore. But the thing is, I'm like, when is it going to end? Can y'all wrap up the story already? I mean, surely you can package it nicely now and get to a conclusion, but they keep drawing it out. And then they introduce a new twist and the little girl got kidnapped. And I'm like, really? Anyway, I digress. So that's what I've been doing, child, all weekend and into the wee hours. I kind of injured my knee over the weekend. So that was a good excuse to put some ice on it and sit down and do some more reading. And my daughter's like, what are you doing? I said, I'm actually reading on my phone. She's like, you are? And I said, yes. And you need to read your book too while mommy's reading quietly. I tell you, what a hot mess. They're very addictive. Oh, no, I didn't hear about that. All right, let me see here now. I'm looking for an email as well. Let me just touch bases with someone to see if they sent me that email. All right. Okie dokie. Someone says, good morning, Sandy. If you ever hear my 9-year-old singing your intro song, she sounds so sweet. Have a great day. I'm caught up in one of those audiobooks too. They are so good. Well, this one isn't even an audiobook. Like, I'm having to read this on the screen of my phone. And I'm just like, can we get a conclusion? Because I'm legitimately curious about how it all ends. Because I have a theory about how the parties are so connected and why they're so drawn to each other. And there have been lies that have been told to these people when they were children. So I'm like they threw these hints in there in the plot line. Oh, I've been having these horrible headaches with memory loss. I'm like, yes, get to it. And there's so many typos in it too. I chuckle every time I see a little typo, but they are the masters of drawing things out, honey chow. Morning, Paul. 64 degrees in Bermuda. Woo! Got to put on a sweater this morning, honey chow. Good morning, Stephanie. Miss Yulene, good morning to you. Damien says, yes, that was a 62 average per week, over 3,276 accidents. And sometimes I can totally see why. So there was one in Frank Sound this morning. Car flipped. Did y'all see that one? I don't know how y'all do. I honestly do not know how y'all do it. My goodness. I'm like, how do y'all drive so bad? I mean, there has to be some kind of like bizarre logic to being such a poor driver. It has to make sense in some universe, right? Good morning, Damien. Child with a purpose. So nice to see you. I did see another message come in this morning that I must reply to. Oh, yes. All right. Diamond Princess, hello. Siobhan is here. Says burning the midnight candle. I know. Morning to Aliano. Siobhan says that's how they get you. I know. And it's like, I hate this one because this one doesn't have if they had like a monthly subscription, all you could read, I wouldn't mind it. But this one is a little bit like they really rein you in with the dollars. And I don't even know where the money is coming from because I'm like, I don't think I have that much credit on my, they do like an in-store purchase. I'm like, I don't normally put no pile of money in my thing, but I keep topping it up and it looks like I have don't ask, but it looks like I somehow, how do I check how much money I have on my Apple store? Where's the credit thing on that? But somehow it seems like I have money. Don't know where it came from, mind you. Yeah, they've been, how do I tell how much money I have? I don't even know. This is weird because I normally only put like $100 on there and it lasts me forever because I have I got to figure out how to find out how much money I have in my Apple account. Does anybody know? What a hot mess. All right. Live says that sounds like Days of Our Lives when it used to air on CITV. Never ending. Trust me, it will never end. I'm beginning to conclude that this story may never end, and I'm just going to have to give up and have my own ending in my head of exactly how it all happened. But when you have the protagonists of the story, like you want them to get together, and you're just like, yes, I want to. Lord. I need to talk to somebody at CNB today. I don't know what's going on. I got a new debit card because the other one expired. And I have been unable to update my PayPal credentials. Now, when I first called CNB about it, they said, yes, they were aware that there was an issue and they were supposed to fix it. But then I never did get a hold of the fix, really. All right, I'll have to sort that out. Everton, 81 degrees. It really back down to 60, and it's today, and then it's back down to 60. 60 degrees in April? Isn't that a little chilly still for April? Good morning, Horace. Debbie's here. Miss Dorothy. All right, so listen. It was a good weekend. Aliano says, yeah, you don't finish the story finishes you. I just can't even. Go to settings. Oh, yes. Somebody's telling me how to do it. So go to settings, payment and shipping. Click here. Oh, yes. Settings. Oh, yeah. Payment and shipping. Now, this is weird because this is tied to my PayPal account and I ain't got no money in PayPal. Really? Huh. Okay. And then, oh, it just says payment method, PayPal. Oh, is that how they're getting me? Oh my God. That would be my little Amazon money that I'm spending. Lord Jesus, we got to fix it. Jesus, come and fix Sandy. Because we gotta sort this out. I'm not spending any more money on this book. Ugh. And I'm thinking to myself, the more I think about it, this is weird because recent activity, I don't actually see the money coming off my PayPal, so I don't know where it's coming from. Maybe I shouldn't complain. Maybe there's a glitch and they're really not charging me after all. It always catches up with you folks, trust me. April the 27th. This is so weird. Ugh. Anyway, I see transactions going through on PayPal, but yet it hasn't allowed me to update the card. How is that even possible? That is weird, right? Okay, this is one of those tech things that maybe I don't question. Maybe I just go with the flow and it'll figure itself out. But anyway, I'm into this book like big time. Anywho, I can't think about it because I'm so obsessed with figuring out what happened. This is a good chapter. Some of the chapters are kind of boring. I'm like skipping through them very quickly. But this one, her best friend got kidnapped and put in the bottom of a barrel. And now she's in the hospital because she's still alive. It's like, oh my God. Okay, man, back to reality. We like these books because they allow us to have an escape from reality, I think. But anyway, our reality apparently is just as interesting. Let's talk about it. Shall we start with the thieves? Yes, let's start with the thieves, and then we can talk about the rest of the weekend. So, listen, some people are just trouble. And apparently, these two young ladies who were observed stealing from the tip jar are just troubled. They are trouble and troubled. Yeah? Now, some of you identified who they are. So I'm going to talk about it. Apparently, they've been featured in CMR before, from the sounds of it. You guys like, oh, yeah, we know them, Sandy. Remember, they were fighting in the streets, nasty girls. I was like, oh, okay. Let's watch the video, and then I'm interested to see what you guys think, because there will, oh yeah, this person's showing me audiobooks. The thing about it, before I move on, you can go to Amazon and they've got probably millions of books, both in audio and e-reader format. They're not going to nickel and dime you like these people. So this is why I'm like, this is really a real ploy. And like I said, this isn't the best writing in the world. This one is called Beyond the Divorce. And I've been reading it for the past week and I can't get beyond the pages. So I'm gonna see. I wonder if there's somewhere else that I can read it. Oh my gosh, is there another way? It's this goodnovel.com thing. Oh, but Reddit has it beyond the divorce, romance novels. Ugh, is it really a romance novel? Because this is so ridiculous. Here, look at this person. I just Googled it. This person says, does anyone know when they give the next chapters? I made it to chapter 420, and that's where it stops. What? That was 5 months ago. Would love to finish this novel as I'm hooked. Me too. It's so frustrating. I don't have the money to keep buying these coins. It makes me feel better. It does make me feel better that I'm not the only person. Oh my God, are you kidding? This person said, I've read the novel EXO chapters. I've read all of them. Then I find out there's like 1,000 more chapters. I just need to know who Chloe really is, among other things. This other person says, someone just spoil it. I want to know. At this point, I'm like, you know what? What chapter am I in? Hold on. Chapter 444. I'm coming up. I'm coming up on chapter 444. So yeah, listen, I can't go to no 1,000 chapters. This is ridiculous. This is no. Oh my God, no way. Oh my God. This is ridiculous. Uh-huh. Oh my gosh. Everybody's in the same boat. They all want to know what happens. Oh my goodness. Now up to chapter 610, and I've only read 9 or 10 fully. Has anyone found anywhere else to read this? Like for real? Save me. The novel is up to chapter 1558, and it says it's completed. Oh my God. This is crazy. I read from Good Novel. That's what I'm reading from. This is the hook. Up to chapter 490. After paying such a big amount, I now refuse to pay more because as you go further into chapters, the more you need to pay. Hence, more expensive for a single storyline that seems copied from other novels. Spoiler. Oh my God. No. I'm not ready for the spoiler yet. Okay. Not ready for the spoiler. I'm going to read it later. Does anybody have a PDF copy? This person says, I'm so obsessed with the story. The book is on Amazon. You are kidding me. No way. No way. Okay, hold on. If Amazon has this, I'm legitimately going to kick myself. Oh my God. What? Is this it? No, that's about some Victoria lady. That's not Victoria. This is Chloe. Just a second. Okay. I don't see it. All right, I gotta look for it because if this is on Amazon, I'm legitimately gonna kick my own self. Because really, this person's like, you can find it on Amazon for like $20. Where? Oh my God, no way. Anyway, this is obsession. I'm telling you all, this it's real. Where? Where is it? Oh my God. Ugh. Okay. All right. We're going to get to the bottom of this, folks, because I need to figure this out. It's just too much. Oh my goodness. I want to find out where on Amazon is it. Oh my God. Okay. Calm down, folks. We got a mystery in our hands. And we are going to figure this out. Yeah, I don't want to pay for this if I can find it cheaper. jeez, these people are scammers. It reminds me of the massage people in the mall. They get me every time. Marlon is like, listen, you need to stop going to these people. And I'm like, I can't help it. I walk by, these are the little Vietnamese people. I think they're Vietnamese, Chinese, Mandarin, I don't know. Anyway, go to the Spanish people in the mall because they don't scam you. The Vietnamese people, they're the ones that have the store. You see, the Spanish people now, when you go into the malls, they have the little kiosk and they're busy. Like they do your massage and they're like, okay, get up and go. There's another person waiting. The Vietnamese people, not so much so. You sit down and next thing okay, this oil good for your foot. I put this oil in your foot, okay? And you're like, okay, only $20 more, $20 more. You're like, I only wanted the $20 like mini 15-minute massage. No. Oh, you have not here. You have not here. I'll use my thumb. So my thumb means $15 more, okay? I use thumb. And I'm like, what the hell? You walk out of there paying $60 for a friggin' massage when you were just like supposed to have done a mini massage. The first time they got me, Marlon was like, Sandy, what just happened? I don't even know. It was so fast. And they keep massaging you. Oh my God. It's the thing. All right. This person says, please get on topic. I have a 9:30 meeting. Morning, Miss Barbara, joining us from the UK. All right. Hot mess. Yes, Everton. Everton's ready for this. Okay. So let's watch the video first, and then we'll discuss what happened and what this is. Here we go. Dun, dun, dun. So for the benefit of our radio listeners, since there's no audio, we see two girls at the counter. And I understand this is the corner, not corner. Oh God, what's the name of the place again? The restaurant? Oh Lord, Cotton Club. Sorry. They are at the Cotton Club. Apparently, I didn't even know Cotton Club had a restaurant. I really don't go in that plaza, to be honest. I've been in there like once or twice. So Cotton Club has a restaurant, I guess, walk-in restaurant. And they're standing up there and they grab the tip jar. And then they start taking out the money. The one in the blue bends down. The other one bends down with her. And they start stealing the money. Now, there's two guys behind them, right? Right away, one guy, they're both watching them. They're openly stealing it. And they're shaking their head. One guy in the hat even turns around and looks at the camera. Which is interesting. So he looks at the camera, thinking these girls are stupid. Do they not see a camera here? This would happen on the 27th, which would have been Saturday at 2:52 in the morning. 2:52 in the morning? That's the time of morning y'all go into fast food restaurants? No, sir. Go home. 2:52 a.m. Here they are stealing out of the tip jar. And so they're bending over, taking money out. And then she takes that little one there, takes the money and walks out. And the other one puts the tip jar back. So you see them, this is just a repeat. So this is a little bit concerning. I got to tell you the truth. Because these young ladies are pretty bold, if you ask me. Wow. Okay. So let's talk about who they are. You guys seem to have been able to identify them very, very quickly. So this is what my sources said. And then I see some of the comments saying, oh, the guys should have stopped them. They should have done something. I want to really get your opinion on this because I think that this can be a very interesting question, generally speaking, about whether or not people who are witnessing a crime should try to intervene. All right, so let me see here now. Hold on. So one person wrote in and said, let me see. This was Saturday. Yeah. So one person wrote in and said, The one in the pink top is Kovan Bush's daughter, Shanae. And the other one is Haley. She used to run away a lot from the girls' home. They both had fight at Lion Center when they had that concert a year or two ago. And apparently, I think we had gotten footage of the concert. So Shanae is the one in the pink, and the other one is Haley. This person says, yep, and Shanae is a whatless mother. She's been stealing. She had found, you had found where Kovan was being sued. Oh, yeah, because I think when she was in high school, she stole a phone from somebody as well. So looks like she's got a little bit of a klepto finger, and she's been at this for a minute. You know, parents, if you have children in elementary school, high school, whatever, that like to steal stuff, even if they're stealing within your own homes, this is the sort of thing that you really need to nip in the bud. And then she walks away like laughing, like this is funny. They both are kind of having a good little giggle. So Haley, let's get a good look at who these young ladies are. Anybody has a decent picture of Shanae that we can see? Because these are the girls now that, you know, if you see them come into your establishment, you can rest assured that they're a bunch of thieves. And my goodness, if they can steal from the tip jar, they'll probably steal from just about anywhere. So I wouldn't trust them in a graveyard, much less the tip jar. Scandalous. Really and truly. So Haley, I mean, I don't know what your issues are, but try to get some professional help, girls. This is not a good look. Honestly. All right. So we got a picture of Haley. Somebody sent me one of Shanae. Shanono. All right. So this is Haley. Hold on now. Maybe this one is Shanae. I don't know. Hold on. You guys have to tell me because I don't really know who these girls are. But I know they got to do better than this. This is disgraceful. Really and truly. All right. So which one is this one? This is who? This is Haley? Who is this girl? I think this one might be Haley. So for someone who can be popping bottles and has a ring in every finger, truly, you got to do better. I mean, really? These girls want to live a fabulous life. And, you know, no one is saying that you can once you work for it. Seriously? Wow. All right. Oh yeah, so that's her. Oh, okay. So here's the other one. Like I said, I don't know who these girls are. So apparently this one is the other girl. This is Shanae. Look at that. You should put these up in every restaurant, every bar, every place of business, because these young ladies have sticky fingers. You know, thieves. Vanessa says those are Shein rings. Oh, you mean they're not real? Oh my gosh. Okay. The thought had not even crossed my mind. So yeah, thieves that like to go out fighting and partying all the time, don't want to be mothers. Does Haley have any kids? Please tell me she doesn't. At least that might be some child that's going to be saved. Someone said that they're waiting 2 hours for food. That's why they did this. Oh, please. Are they serious? Like, really? Gabby says the rings and bottle probably stolen too, for real. So they had some excuse. Let's have a look at their excuse. Hold on one second here now. So apparently they messaged everything 345. because everything 345 had it up. And they claim, let me see what their excuse is. There's no excuse for stealing from people, first of all. So y'all know that I'm not buying the story. Oh, this is where they claim they're waiting for 2 hours. Boy, I tell you, some people are just so ridiculous. So everything 345 took it down because they felt sorry for them, I guess. We're not taking it down. Absolutely not. Expose all the thieves and criminals in this country from the top straight down to the bottom and from the bottom straight up to the top. Drop the kaboom, says
Kaboom!
KK. So they claim their excuse for stealing. Hear this now. Hear this. Their excuse for stealing, bro, we gave them back the money. These people took 2 hours for food and we wanted our money back. Really? Okay. Let's try to understand this, because I don't know which of these smart Alex would have sent this message to everything 345, whether it was Shanae or Haley. But let me try to comprehend this. You're going to stand up at 2 o'clock in the morning. So in other words, you're waiting from 12:30 until 2:30 to get food. You actually want us to believe that? Honey child, please, please, please. Trust me. None of us was born this size. We're not that stupid. Say what? Listen, I go in Wells, and after 5 minutes when I don't have my food, I'm looking at my clock going, excuse me, I called in my order. Where's my food? You legitimately think that anybody, especially these two fighting street hoodlums, are going to stand up and wait for food for 2 hours? My God, they could have came up with a better lie. I mean, they could have at least said 30 minutes. That would have been more believable. Somebody said they still didn't return the money. Y'all are just messy. Haley and Shanae, no. Please get your act together. Y'all are just messy. Who does this? Somebody said they're too busy selling their front. Lord Jesus. It's more than one time she and her friend did this. They be stealing from the gas station in McRoss West Bay. None of them are working. They busy selling their front. Well, they can't be selling it for much if they still got steal from the tip jar. I'm just saying, what's the going rate for front these days? Come on, people, get it together. They laugh because they was going to get caught. Blessed morning. Those are the same girls that was fighting over a man at Lion Center on the roadside. My friends and I confronted Haley, told her to put it back or you'll find out. So that means the two men confronted her, but she refused to and pissed up herself at the bar too. Ew. It's more than one time she did this. Her friend that they be stealing from. Oh my gosh. What the heck? Say what? Ew. Nasty. Oh my God. Wow. Is something wrong with them? Are they on drugs? Because, I mean, drugs can explain this kind of behavior. What are they smoking? Honey child, that's disgusting. Ew. No, sir. Oh, my goodness. Well, there they are, folks. Two thieving girls who have nothing better to do. I would really invite Haley and Shanae to get some serious help. Y'all have a problem. You know, it's interesting that you don't want to hold a job. I think that somebody told me one time Shanae was working at Cost You Less, and then not too long, she disappeared from that job. Somebody said they saw Haley working. Is it at the bank? It can't be a bank. Oh my God, you can't have a thief in a bank. Where does she work? Let me see. I think somebody said she was working. No, Kirk Market. Please lock away the food, lock away the cash. What else at Kirk Market can you steal? The managers, she might try and steal one of them too. Kirk Supermarket should see this and fire her. Oh, who was working at Kirk Supermarket? Shanae. Oh, that's where she is these days. Well, What a hot mess. Irvin says, OMG, shaking my head. Tell them, come try that with me and let me catch them. God have mercy on them. BBC. Richard, good morning. Sophia, morning, darling. Dean is here. No excuse to steal. Making excuses for people who steal. Whoever said, oh, it's because they had to wait 2 hours. No, apparently they're saying that. And somebody's just sharing that that's what they said, which is stupid as far as I'm concerned. Because number one, we know nobody not going to sit down and wait no 2 hours for food. Well, why would they have to wait 2 hours for food? They had to go catch the cow, kill the cow, defrost the cow, season the meat, and then hand them the food? This is pre-cooked food. All they got to do is slap it on a plate. You're lucky if they warm it up for you. Half the time, they're not even going to do that. You know, they have a set menu. Child, you could have a whole 5-course meal in 2 hours. So we know that that's a bold-faced lie. So I'm not surprised that they're liars, though, because being a liar and a thief kind of go hand in hand because they're both acts of dishonesty. I just thought they were a little bit smarter than that. That just shows how bright they are not to come up with that story. Wow. This is us. This is us, Caymanians. This is our people. You see what I'm telling you? Imagine the embarrassment that we all feel this morning to know that these are our people. Where's Haley from? Shanono is from West Bay. Is Haley from West Bay as well? Then West Bayers need to grab them and give them one little cow card beating. I'm just saying. Anonymous Caymanian says, who waits 2 hours for food, especially on a late night, and it's a takeaway diner, shaking my head. Yeah. Caymanian, trust me, their story does not make any sense. It's a lie. Bold-faced lie. And then the thing about it is they're so stupid because all they're doing is jeopardizing their own livelihood, which I know that they don't care to work anyway. They love being on NAU. And Eddie, you need to stop supporting these little girls. Cut them off. Because guess what? When you see them out there wanting to be criminals, and by the way, it doesn't matter if you're stealing from the tip jar. This is a criminal offense. And so the police should be arresting them and charging them with theft. Even if it's $1, you still have to send a very, very strong message. KK says that's still no excuse. Well, it's a lie because it doesn't even make any sense. Shannon says everything 3, 4, 5 probably want them as their new girlfriends. Oh, geez, I'm peace. No. I don't know. Sometimes everything 3, 4, 5, they're a little bit soft. You know, they when they reach out to them, oh man, take it down. I got a daughter and I got a job. It's like, yeah, that's why you shouldn't go out stealing from people. So I can't speak for everything 3, 4, 5, but it's more likely that they just soft. And you know, they felt sorry for him. But listen, don't feel sorry for these girls. They are messy as messy comes. Leo, good morning. Rosedale. Somebody said, kill the cow and defrost. Yeah, you know, that trust me, you would have been in. So Haley lives in West Bay and Willie Farrington Drive. Oh, okay. Oh my God. No, sir. So apparently, yes. Shanae stole a phone when she was in high school from some other kid. And the mother of that child actually ended up suing her mother, Kovan. Now, remember Kovan, they're all a bit of a hot mess. Her mother, Kovan, was the one who was in that other video that went viral. I hear she works at Kirk Market, says somebody. Okay, what a mess. No, sir. She was in that other viral video where she was taunting the man on the beach and he knocked her out cold. These people are a different kind of messy. I mean, and you know what is so funny? I actually saw Kovan on, what day was the police press conference? Thursday? Wednesday or Thursday? I actually saw her out by Royal Bank standing up in front of the bank. And one little tighty short dress for her grandma. Anywho, this person says, Gosh darn it, they might even steal the customers. Well, at this rate, I would be concerned. Marshall says, I wouldn't wait that long in line for food, even if it was free. That's a lie. Of course. Aliano says 2 hours waiting for food and half cut or full cut. You would bet they would have been in a mess of cussing. Exactly. Let's watch the video again. Look how fresh they are. Right? That looked like anybody might have been stand up for 2 hours. Chat, please. They probably couldn't even stand up that long. So these two guys, the discourse was like, oh, why didn't they stop them? Why didn't they do something? So that's going to be today's trivia question. So here's today's trivia question. In the midst of a crime being committed, right? Do you believe that someone should intervene? Well, I think it depends on the crime. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. It really depends on the crime. So, that show, What Would You Do? This is kind of this question now. Do you intervene? Do you intervene when a crime is being committed? So, yes, no, and let's do a maybe on this one. Because the maybe, I think, is if it depends on the nature of the offense. Yes? So let me share the link, start to vote. So in other words, if a child is being kidnapped, obviously if you can pull the child away from the kidnapper and you can help, then you intervene. Something like this, especially when the guys obviously knew that there was a camera there. Do you think that they should have done anything? Should they have stopped them? Should they have spoken to them? I mean, someone did say that they were told to stop. Now, I don't know if it's by these two guys or who, but they were told to stop. So let me just try to clarify. Let me just try to clarify exactly who spoke to them, but apparently somebody did. So what's your take on this? So far, most people are saying maybe. So it depends on 50% said maybe. It's going to depend on what the offense is. I can understand that. Again, anything involving children, I feel like if it's in the moment, like you definitely got to grab the child and help save the child, right? Like a kidnapping or something. But if it's something like this, I would have said something, but then it kind of depends because some of these girls are so stupid that, they want to try to be rolling up on you if you do say something. So sometimes you just gather information, but I would have said something. Yeah, I would have said something. I would have been like, really? Really? You guys are doing this? Like, for real? Put the money back. But you got to be prepared, because they're probably intoxicated, drunk, God knows what else. They might have been snorting, sniffing, smoking, whatever, however else you ingest substances, injecting, who knows, right? So you have to prepare yourself that the response that you get might escalate the situation. So it kind of depends too, I think, on what sort of 53% said maybe, 27% said yes so far, 20% say no. Pat says early education and intervention are key indicators for this behavior. It shows up quite early in life. Well, I don't know anything about Haley, but given the fact that she was in the girls' home, it sounds like she probably had a rough start. I don't know what the circumstances of her being in the home, because not every person that is in the girls' or children's home are behavioral children. Sometimes they're there because they themselves are victims of some sort of crazy household, right? Or even sometimes abuse. And I've always expressed this opinion that I'm very, very surprised that they put these children in these homes and unfortunately throw them to the wolves, because I don't think you should be mixing children with behavioral issues with children that are victims of a situation, right? They require very different types of intervention. And so mixing them is a little bit of a recipe for disaster, because I've known of children who were like sexual abuse survivors and stuff. Then they put them in these homes with these children who have behavioral issues. They're acting out, they're fighting, they're doing the most, and it causes more damage than anything else, which I think is really, really unfortunate. And our so-called, I don't know who's in Kay's foundation, as well as the government, needs to look at a way to separate these children, because they're very different children and they need different type of attention and care. Good morning, caller.
Thank you. I had to call in for that. Thank you. I have been saying that for years. Why they don't take that money that they want to build school in Kimbra and build a separate facility for these girls? Thank you. Thank you. That needs to kaboom.
Yes. All right. There we go. Yeah, I mean, I've spoken on this before, but it's definitely worth repeating. It's very, very concerning that we have so-called experts in child safety and experts in, that work for these centers, and they have not seen what to me is incredibly obvious, that you do not mix those type. Come on, it's common sense almost. You don't mix those types of children, right? So Gabby says Haley's from Prospect. Okay, well, she moved to the West, honey child. The West can have her. Them Georgetown. I was like, keep her. Madison says that was her. Maddie, yeah. Mark, good morning. Mark says it's a good thing that Kevin Gerzong still doesn't own that. Oh, Kevin owned that at one time. Oh, honey child. He would have come out with a machete. Morning, caller.
Yes, hello.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
Pertaining to your poll about doing something if they saw a crime happening.
Yes.
Okay, I have a question and also a statement for that. For the people who are doing the poll. Okay, first of all, you got to ask yourself, if there was a crime being committed against you or the person who was doing the poll,
yes,
and people were around that could have assisted or thwarted the crime,
yes,
if they would want an intervention.
That's true.
That's the question. Okay, number two, okay, if I see a crime being committed and I could assist in any way possible, no matter what it was, and I was in a position that I could thwart it, and I did nothing about it, does that make me better than the criminal?
Well, that's the question a lot of people have been asking, yeah.
Because I believe to see anything being wrongly done to anyone or anything, and you do nothing about it, you're just as bad as the perpetrator.
Yeah.
That's the fact about it. And if everybody took that into consideration, I don't mean like if you saw a man pull out a gun, you can jump in front of it.
Right.
To say, yeah. But if I'm in a vicinity where somebody pulls out a gun to rob a place and he put it right in front of my face and I could do something to grab it or move it or do something to the person, I'm going to take that chance, because I believe that we have to pay these things forward, We can't just go into the fear fact of always going to flight. We have to fight at times. And that is what's going to make the world a better place. If everybody knew that everybody was a judge, jury, and prosecution to the wrong actions that they're going to perpetrate, they wouldn't do as much. You know what I mean? Because if those girls knew that those guys behind them were two police, do you think that they would even think about touching that tip jar? No. But everybody within themselves are police. We have to reach a society. Cayman is small. We have to reach to a point where we see something, we talk about it. Don't sit on the front porch and just watch it. You know what I mean? Because it's going to create a cycle. Because that person's going to think, oh, I got away with it today.
Yes.
I'm going to try it again tomorrow. And then when it reaches your front door, the one who did nothing, you're going to cry for help. You're going to cry for help. So we have to set it where each one teach one, and if we see something going wrong that we can do something. Like if I was those guys behind there, I would have said, look, that can't work. And if they want to be boisterous and carry on, I'll call the police right in front of them, or do a video right in front of them of me calling the police and telling them to put it back. So we have the facts. It's not about me just saying, oh, put it back, and it cuts me out, and I turn my back and wag my tail on my bottom and I gone with it. No. No, if you see we don't wait until these things reach our front porch before we try to react. Be reactive. Now, I mean, we have to react at the same time to not say we nipping these things in the bud so it don't come to our front porch. It doesn't escalate. Now, I mean, so all I'm saying, the people who doing the polls, think about it. The question was, would you want somebody to help you no matter what crime was happening around you and people were there that could assist? And also, do you think it's right to see something happening and you could thwart it and do nothing about it? Thank you.
Thank you so much, caller. Good point. The caller says, think about if you were the victim, what would you want to be done? 60% said maybe, 30% says yes, and only 10% saying no. I understand the maybe because it really does depend. Like, I'm not going to just wholeheartedly say every situation I would necessarily jump in, especially as he said, if like a weapon is involved, this is where you can get yourself killed. So in situations like that, I can definitely understand why the thing to do is just call 911. You know what I'm saying? It's like the burning car scenario. If you can get to the person quickly and help pull them out, then yes, that's the thing to do. But you also don't want to jeopardize other people's lives by trying to attempt a rescue if you're not equipped to do it. So I suppose it depends. It really does depend, right, on the situation. So you can scan the QR code there, or give us a call and certainly share your opinions on this one. So question again is, do you intervene when a crime is being committed? Yes, no, or a maybe. I think this one deserves a maybe because it's not always quite as hard, a fast, hard yes or no. So yeah, in this situation, I think that this is a definitely a yes. Maddie says Haley be recruiting young high school girls for big men at hotels. Well, that's a very serious allegation. And if it's true, the police need to be talking to Haley. Trust and believe me when I tell you. This is a real serious concern because it does seem like there are, trafficking rings happening with our middle school and teenage girls. Good morning, caller.
Morning.
Morning.
What if your daughter went to a birthday dinner and on the way home, she was abducted, raped, and murdered?
You mean like what happened to poor Estella?
Yes. Like, in other words, would you really want someone to intervene?
Of course, if they could.
Right. I understand. Yes. Yeah. But you see, self-protection is not an accidental thing. It's a predetermined thing. And you have to think about it before. You have to prepare yourself before, because you're only going to do what you have practiced and studied and learned to do. If you think you're just going to figure it out in the moment, all you're going to do is freeze.
Right. If you've never put your mind to it.
That's right. And so,
although I do believe that some people, this is kind of a personality question. Some people are more likely to just jump in instinctively and not even think about self-preservation than other people.
I agree with that. I'm just speaking generally.
Yeah.
In the Firearms Act, the section 18(1)(a) says, no person shall discharge any firearm within 40 yards of a public road or in a public place, except in the lawful protection of his person or property, or the person or property of some other person. And so this idea about defense has always been that part of keeping society safe is about looking out for other persons. The entire the reason why we live in a polity called society is because it's beneficial for us to do so, because there are things that one person does that we can't do. We don't make our own food, we don't make our own shoes, we don't make our own cars. And so protection is also a group effort. And if people don't really care, then whatever happens to me, I've seen videos of people who are being beaten up, especially in the US, and people just stand there with a cell phone. Now, I'm not saying that videoing it isn't a good idea, but if you're just standing there and watching the person be beat up, I'm sorry, something's wrong with that picture. In fact, it's part of my argument about, if you're just going to stand there, then I need to have a means by which I can protect myself, because you're not coming to my system. Right? And so some people take the view that, oh, well, just learn martial arts. Well, what if you have something physically wrong with you that you're not in the condition to roll up on the ground with somebody? You don't think you would want to have some other means? Like, for example, this whole debate about pepper spray and stuff like that. That's in a close environment. That's in a situation where you're close to the person. That's one way of dealing with it, because if an attacker can't see, you could probably escape. Right? I'm not saying that it's the solution to everything. I think it has its place. And I think those who want to deprive people of it, because their argument is that, well, if you allow law-abiding citizens to have it, the criminals will have it too. Criminals can get whatever they want. In fact, the laws only prohibit law-abiding citizens from doing things. Criminals ignore laws. So if you have a law that says that a law-abiding citizen can have something to defend themselves, like pepper spray, that's not enabling criminals. What you do is, the philosophy that's used in the US in relation to weapons is, let's say that you are a criminal. Let's say you've been convicted in court and you're known to be an offender of a certain category of offense. The way the US does it is, they don't try to prevent you from getting your hand on pepper spray because you're a criminal. But if they catch you with it, there are laws that say what they can do with you now that they've caught you. And the truth of the matter is, no matter what the laws say, you can't enforce the law unless you catch the person. So this idea of trying to keep people from everything for our own good, that's a double-edged sword. Right? And especially if I'm hearing that most people might not help, that really hurts my heart.
Well, most people have said maybe.
I know. I understand. I said might not help. That's what I said. And so, if you can cause someone to be captured in a lesser offense, you're probably preventing a more serious offense. And they say that prevention is better than a pound of cure. An ounce of prevention is better than a pound of cure. Why not assist your neighbor in catching the criminal when they're stealing a bicycle instead of when they're coming for something more serious? I think we need to I think we need to look out for each other more than is common these days. That's one of the things that we've lost as a country. And I hope that we could see the benefit. Because when you are helping someone else, if you want to look at it purely from a selfish perspective, you're actually helping yourself. Because it's your neighbor's turn today and it's your turn tomorrow. Right? So we shouldn't let crime flourish. It's not good for us. It's not good for business. It's not good for safety. It's not good for enjoyment. Social life is just gone to the dogs when crime gets really out of hand.
Thank you.
Take care.
936-2626. Okay. What a mess. Al says guns were not made to protect yourself. They're made to kill. Aliano says not everyone have that level of stoicism. There's a 3-second rule of fight or flight. Why not speak out against worse crimes that we see every day, says Damien. Well, I hope we realize that we should. That doesn't mean that you can't do more than one thing at the same time. I often see this, Damien. People seem a little bit perplexed that we as human beings can actually hold more than one thought in our brain and we can have more than one parallel discussion at the same time. So of course we speak out about more serious crimes. That's important. But that doesn't mean that you can't speak out about this. They're not mutually exclusive concepts. So do we start with, this might look like a low-end crime, but with these young ladies, what I find is this escalates. It starts like this, and then it continues to escalate. And one day they're going to be involved in more serious crimes. I mean, we hear an allegation here that one of them is alleged to have to be involved in making teenagers available to men at hotels. That's a pretty serious crime. That's the kind of crime that if she is doing that she should be in jail for. Maddie says, yeah, but these girls are dangerous, so just call the police. You see what I'm saying now? Like, I don't know how dangerous they are, but a lot of people would be hesitant to get involved and to personally put themselves at risk. And even the police will tell you this. If somebody's coming to rob you, just give them the money or whatever. Those things can be replaced, but your life, your health, and your safety can't necessarily be replaced, right? What I found interesting about this this video is, did they actually ever get their food? Because I see them grab the tip jar. Now, this is where I'm questioning the sequence of events. Because in my mind, it doesn't even look like they ordered food. So notice there's people, these guys behind them. They look like they're probably there to place a counter order, right? So they go up, you see them look in, like maybe they were going to place an order. Instead, they grab the money from the tip pan. They take the money and then they leave. So my question is, did they actually order food? They claim they're waiting for 2 hours for food. Where's the food? But thank God that that it says here in this note that they can you be so kind and post these two ladies, I wouldn't call them ladies, but okay, let's call them thieves, stole her tips from her business place, Cotton Club, diner, restaurant. I'll give them until today to give us the $68 that it was on the green box. If both of them don't have this cases with the police, well, this should be a case with the police regardless of whether or not they show back up and return the money. So let's make it very, very clear. When somebody comes back and returns the money because they've been caught red-handed, that, folks, is not a reason to not call the police. You see, these types of people, they're kleptomaniacs. They're not going to stop just because you caught them on video. Now they're embarrassed and they're going to actually give the money back. What you need to do is report this to the police. Yes, it's only $68, but you're going to save them. Trust me, you are doing them a huge favor, because one of these days, they're either going to do it to the wrong person and they're going to have some serious consequences, or they are going to end up taking way more than that and really land in jail. So, $68 isn't a bag of money, but at the same time, it might be enough to send them a very clear message that if you don't stop doing this kind of foolishness, you guys are going to end up in jail. I don't know if they have criminal records already. What's Haley's full name? And Shanae, I don't know what her full name is either, but, we could probably have a look and see if they have existing criminal records. But, after a while, the court is not going to play with these girls. These types of offenses are going to start to stack up. So I would recommend the owners of Cotton Club Diner contact the police and report this as a crime, because a crime was definitely committed. Anonymous says it's hard to say whether you should or shouldn't. A lot of people, me included, we don't put ourselves in high conflict situations. There is a law, if I'm not mistaken, where you have a civic duty. So, the law in terms of you failing to act normally does not put the burden on you to stop a crime. So let me be very clear on what the law says in relation to this, because in certain circumstances, it's not a general rule that you are really expected to stop a crime, but in certain circumstances, the law does expressly state that a failure to act will result in criminal liability. But the general rule is that there is no liability for a failure to act. But there's a lot of, there's a lot of situations that could occur where a duty might be imposed by the law itself. The general rule of thumb is that you don't have any liability involved in not acting, right? So if you choose not to do anything, the law is not going to say, well, you should have done something, so therefore, we're going to throw you in jail. But there are exceptions to that, right? I'm trying to think of some of the exceptions, actually. They're probably very few and far in between. Sometimes, depending on the relationship between the individuals, like if there's a special relationship between the victim and the person who failed to act, criminal liability can arise out of that, the nature of that relationship. So there is a bit of a presumption of responsibility to protect other people, such as parent and child, husband and wife, doctor and patient. So the relationship, out of the relationship arises the duty of care, is what it's called in law, right? And then if you breach that duty, that can be both a civil situation as well as criminally liable for omitting to act. I'm trying to think back to law school days. Oh gosh, it's been so long. In reference to this, there was a famous case that we studied in law school. It was a traffic incident with like the trolley going down the hill or something, and the person could have, I think, acted and done something and didn't. I'm trying to remember all the details. Ugh. Any lawyers listening to me going, Sandy? I know it's been a minute since you've had that law degree, but the obligation can also be created through a contract. So sometimes they're contractual obligations. And then obviously there's certain reporting obligations, like say in Cayman, it is a criminal offense if you refuse to do things like report a SARS, like you suspect someone of, money laundering, and you refuse to notify the authorities and to submit a SARS report. That omission and failure to act on your part can constitute an offense as well. So, like failing to prevent fraud offenses, some of those types of legislations have come up in the UK under the English legal system, which is what we fall under as well. Generally speaking, no criminalization under English criminal law, but there are some circumstances where it can arise. Okay. Let me see. So about 61% of you still say maybe. 30%, sorry, say yes, and no is hovering at 9%. I think I would honestly be in the maybe category as well. It really does depend. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, Damien, Anonymous Caymanian says, but is it my civic duty to potentially put myself in harm's way? Should I enable them to get more ignorant to attack me? No, I mean, it's not about civic duty. You also have a right to protect yourself, and you don't have to put yourself in harm's way at all. I mean, these girls, it seems like they're probably a bit, you know, they're criminals. Let's just be very, very clear about what's going on here. They are criminals. And so I guess anything could potentially go with these young ladies. All right, continue, folks, to participate in that poll. And someone says, yeah, it's her child's father's sister. What? Her child's father sister. Her child's father sister. So the aunt of the child who was sent the video, I think it was Everything 345, but it was taken down. Oh, so Shanae, there's a story here now that I think it was Everything 345 that had a video up to of Shanae hitting her boyfriend, and she asked them to take it down as well. And her child's father's sister, yes, was who sent the video. I think it was Everything 345, but it was taken down. It depends on the crime, whether or not I'll get involved, but the amount of guns here, if they were with guns, which most likely they were, if they're with guys, which most likely they were, the guys could have gotten involved, and who knows if guns could have been used or knives. Caller, good morning.
Morning. I want to test Al's theory that firearms are not for protection. He says they're for killing. Should police officers carry firearms? And the ones that are police officers carry guns to kill people or to protect?
I mean, I don't want this to be a gun conversation, because that's not where we're necessarily going with this. But your question has been put out there, and I'm sure anybody who wants to respond to it surely can.
Well, we're talking about defense, and other people are raising issues about guns, and we skirt around the issue, but we never really deal with the issue. And I think that this idea that somehow you shouldn't have a gun because it's to kill people, it's not really for defense, that's a very improper way of thinking about defense. Police officers don't pull up and say, sir, we've come with a warrant to arrest you. Would you please put your hands behind your back? Things get out of hand. Mm-hmm. Do you think the police officers should be defenseless? How do you know to what extent that will escalate? Are you saying the police officers should be at a disadvantage by not having firearms? When you're going to deal with criminals who people are pointing out most likely have firearms. So some of the views that our people have, I don't know, just seems very strange to me. I don't know how we are going to mature as a country if we struggle with just simple, basic concepts. I mean, I really don't know. Mature as a country. This is not rocket science. If someone was trying to take your life from you, what are you going to do? Just sit there and just let them take your life? I think that's the better option. I don't get that.
Okay. 936-2626. Few comments coming in here. So let me just see here. Auntie Sandy says, Shaka Zulu, can you also inform folks on what the law expects of a citizen? So I think we just covered that. Pat makes a good point. Pat says the children's law has a lot of mandatory reporting, and that's absolutely correct. And this is one of the things, if you go back to the petition that I started, God knows how long ago, mandatory reporting was in that petition. And so that was adopted subsequently in the revision of the children's law that took forever to actually get revised and passed, which was ridiculous that it would take so long. But yes, when it comes to children and the safeguarding of children, there is a mandatory reporting. So if you fall into certain positions, any sort of youth worker, teacher, whatever, you have an obligation. You have a legal obligation to report anything that you suspect. So Damien follows up with that and says, so if it's not true, then can I report them for false report or sue them? No, you can't, Damien, unless you can prove that they were reporting you out of malice. So in other words, if there was zero reason for them to think this and they just fabricated the whole thing and made it up and it was a conspiracy against you, you might have a case there. But in most instances, the law protects a person who mistakenly, reports a situation that they believe was dangerous to a child, a person, or whatever. Even, there's that kind of good Samaritan protection. Like, what if you thought a crime was being committed and you intervened and then you ended up hurting someone or whatever in the process? Normally, the Good Samaritan rule is going to protect you in law from any liability because you were trying to do the right thing. And this is where people will freeze up and they'll say, oh my God, do I really want to get involved? Because if the person dies, if I provide medical assistance or if I try to help and I do CPR and I don't do it right, because when you do CPR, you actually break a person's ribs in the process of doing CPR. Do y'all know that? That's one of the consequences. And you do it anyway because you're trying to save the person's life. So breaking a few ribs is probably going to be the least of their worries if you can get them breathing again. But people worry, like, are they going to sue me because I couldn't quite remember how many pumps to give them with CPR? Maybe I skipped one or whatever. And the law tends to protect you, Damien. It's just like, unfortunately, in most cases, we can't sue the police if they get it wrong either. So if they erroneously arrest you and charge you, and then it's not you, it's somebody else or whatever, the understanding is that they were trying to do their job. And unless you can prove that they were not trying to do their job, that it was malice and they set you up completely and all this kind of stuff, you might be able to get away with, it's called, what's it called again? Something prosecution. There's an actual term in law for it. But in other words, malicious prosecution, I think that could be the term. And it takes a lot to prove malicious prosecution. Anna says another person actually bought meals for them. They stole the tip and then they came back again for the food. Say what? So you mean they came in, stole the tip money first, and then came out later for the food? If that is the case, then we obviously know what really happened here is they're just thieves. Because come on now, they came back for the food after the fact. Like, really? You were not waiting 2 hours. I wish we had the video of them come back to the food for the food so we could see the timeline on this. That would be very, very interesting. Gabby says, like I sometimes say, you're bold enough to do the crime. You're bold enough to walk the shame. Doesn't quite rhyme with doing the crime and doing the time, but point taken, Gabby. Now, here's the interesting thing. With the advent of technologies, everybody walks around with a smartphone. You know, everybody's recording these incidents. We have people with cameras, thankfully, in their places of business. You know, if you have a business, folks, let me tell you, everybody needs to get CCTV footage, both inside and outside of their business in this day and age. So when you capture something like this, there is this kind of question mark about, do you share this publicly? Listen, you're in a public space. It's a private space that is open to the public. So these girls have no expectation of privacy when they walk into a place like this, into a restaurant, and decide to break the law. And the owners of these businesses have every right to expose who these criminals are. Remember on Friday, we showed you 3 different videos of, different locations, people breaking in and trying to break in and all kind of stuff. The owners of those businesses have every right to share those videos with a view to either trying to capture and find out the identity of these individuals or just to publicly shame them. You know, in this case, they were like, share the video and see if these girls can bring their money back kind of situation. I think that they took it back, somebody said. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean just because you've been caught red-handed, you took it back, that we're going to take the video down. Let's be very clear. I don't know what everything 345s, what they're kind of, we tend to all have a set of principles that we operate by. If you're in the space of, they're not really media, but whatever it is that they're doing, they kind of are in this hybrid space. They do social media stuff like what's happening in the community. So I don't know what their policy is, because someone said that, there was this other video down with one of these young ladies, and they actually took that one down as well. So I don't know why they keep taking down her videos. I don't know. Gabby, thank you. Faded Mary Jean says, they don't necessarily have to turn out to be as bad as we're projecting. They're young. It's no excuse, but people do stupid things when they're young. It doesn't always define who they're meant to be. Well, the issue that I have with these young ladies, Mary Jane, I agree with you up to a certain point, is that they're not that young. They're how old? So the problem with them is that they keep repeating and doing the same thing over and over again. This isn't an isolated incident, to be clear. Good morning, caller.
Good morning. What about the store cashier when they're robbing people, the change?
Who, say that again? What about the
cashiers around your store and came on them when they supposed to give you change, they're robbing you your change, then I give you your money back.
Well, yeah, that's stealing too. So you need to report it to the establishment. I don't see the police doing nothing about that when they're robbing you your money back from the cashier. Yeah, you need to report it to the establishment. Now, let me ask you a question though. Have you ever handed somebody money and they gave you the wrong change and then you didn't do anything about it?
Yes, I did. Yes, it did happen.
And why didn't you?
I went to the night. Then they robbed me $50, ma'am. You understand? They sell that place on waterfront by Dairy Queen. I went there one time to buy a CCTV camera. And I gave, which is $35, but I gave the man $75, like $100, you understand? So now, instead of him giving me about $50, he take it for himself. I did have one other store besides Subway. And I went to make a complaint, but none have been done about it. Cost you less. The 24-hour store on Mary Street.
So you find a lot of people are not giving you back correct change, and you think that they're purposely doing it.
Yeah. I don't see they have camera there too. I don't see not even employee doing anything about it, ma'am. So what the difference is?
Well, there is no difference, and you should definitely report it to the authorities. I mean,
police is just a waste of time, ma'am. They're just there to say that they're there. They're not doing their job, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, sir. Very
You're
unfortunate.
welcome, ma'am.
Yeah, very unfortunate, but definitely, report it. This young lady here, Haley, somebody just sent me her social media page. I mean, she had such a fresh face. What happened to her? I mean, do you not wonder? I mean, here she is in her little swimsuit back in 2016 doing the sea swim. I mean, our young people have so much potential, and then something just goes awry and they get on this wrong path. And it seems like it is, I don't know. It's just so sad, really. But, if they don't want to help themselves, they're adults now. And if they don't want to help themselves, what are we going to do? Who are we to force her to turn her life around? Nobody can do that. Both her and Shanae. I understand they're probably in their 20s, but they all need to really have a close look at their lives. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning. Just I want to ask just a question. If you know the answer to this. Suppose a criminal, just say I can use me into it, go and commit a crime, and somebody intervene into me doing the crime. Is a confrontation, and I get hurt. Not saying that they get hurt, that I get hurt and they stop the crime and I get hurt from that person. You know that there are situations where I could sue that person even though I'm doing a crime, right?
Sorry, say that again. So you're committing a crime?
Oh, yeah, and someone intervened to stop the crime. There's a confrontation. We fight or whatever the struggle is, and I get hurt. Say he hurt me then, or whoever intervened, they hurt me, and I get injured from that person. You know that is there a situation where I could sue that individual?
Well, this is what I was talking about earlier, something called the Good Samaritan Law, right? So the Good Samaritan Law gives legal protection to an individual who's trying to help like accident victims, say with medical emergencies and so on. It actually protects certain individuals. So how we need to think about this is, I know that we've had Tiz on the show before, and she has talked about, when you look at suing people for personal injury, right? So they get injured. There is something called contributory negligence. And the thing with contributory negligence is it can either reduce the culpability of the other party significantly, or it can negate it 100%. If you were committing a crime, right? Let's walk through this logically. If you were involved in the commission of a criminal offense, just like the man in town, and the little old man shot and killed him because he was breaking into his house, he shot and killed him dead. The question is, can his family sue him for wrongful death? Well, they could try, but I think most lawyers would tell you that, in fact, you would be wasting your money because of the fact that he was involved in the commission of a serious offense. And people do have a right to protect themselves and to protect their homes using reasonable force. So I would think the only way that you could really, really sue them and get away with it is if it was an excessive force argument. So, if they were, I don't know, stealing a flower and you went out of your yard, and as they're running away from you, stealing a flower, you shot them in the back of the head or something. Obviously, you can't do that. So there has to be reasonable force involved in stopping someone who is in the middle of committing a crime. And the law doesn't want to encourage you, to be honest, to be too confrontational with criminals. So a lot of times that's why the police say, let them take the handbag and go, and we'll try to solve it afterwards, kind of thing, right? So the law is keen for people not to put themselves in harm's way and to escalate situations even further.
Because even though people gotta remember, even though you're a criminal, you got rights, you know. Even though you're a criminal, you got rights. And I mean, I understand the situation where you're trespassing into someone else's property and is endangering that person. But I just like talking like ordinary a basic crime, like how those ladies was stealing that money just now. You know, if somebody had intervened into that and they get and they hurt one of them girls, them girls got right, because first of all, you're not police. It isn't. You say Good Samaritan law, but I don't know. Is that in Cayman? Because it isn't a citizen arrest or anything. Does that apply to Cayman? That law apply?
It's. I mean, it's sort of a general principle in law. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I mean, you know, if you're trying to stop someone from committing a crime, like I said, you know, there is a certain degree of protection that's offered to you.
Yeah, I see. I've heard in cases where the criminal turn around and sue the whole state. You know, I'm talking about like in the United States and things, other than in the individual, because the police never did it. Mm-hmm. It was done by an individual, and the criminal got hurt. And the criminal turned around.
Well, somebody just reminded us. Remember when the ex-commissioner of police ran over a robber who was running away, and it was ruled his force wasn't excessive? We now have a precedent. So somebody just reminded us of that case as well. All right, caller. Yeah, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
All right.
Okay, darling. Yeah. So I mean, you know, it certainly will depend on the circumstances. Like I said. You can't be going out of your way to run people down for minor offenses, but this guy was involved in a robbery. And so it was found that what he did was what the ex-police commissioner did in running him down was within his rights to do so. Good morning, caller.
Hey, good morning. I actually had a question based on this this gentleman who just called in. Isn't there a maxim in law? They that would come into equity must come with clean hands. Would that apply to a case like that?
I mean, yes. I mean, you should always come to the court with clean hands. I mean, you know, generally speaking. I think that principle applies more in the case of like a civil kind of matters. So like if you're suing somebody, you can't be, I mean, it's called the clean hands doctrine. So you can't be a crook yourself, or you couldn't have been involved in trying to, you know, like defraud the contract and then trying to claim that this other person has some liability under the contract. So I think that, you know, yes, that principle is a true principle, but I'm not sure that it would necessarily apply in situations like this. I mean, the bottom line is if you're trying to prevent someone from committing a crime, you can do so within reason. You can't be excessive. And so that's where you have to be careful, because what the court might see as excessive, you may not. And so you can sometimes get your hand in a little bit of trouble with situations like that. So the clean hand doctrine, I feel like we're in a proper classroom session this morning, is based on the maxim of equity, which states that no one who comes into equity that states that whoever comes into equity must come with clean hands. The doctrine requires the court to deny equitable relief to a party who has violated good faith with respect to the subject of the claim. So the purpose of the doctrine is to prevent a party from obtaining relief when that party's own wrongful conduct has made it such that granting the relief would be against equity and good conscience. So, you know, it really just depends. Yes, you're most welcome. There's a lot of elements to it, though. Sometimes we oversimplify these legal principles. So, for example, the wrongful act must have an immediate and necessary relation to the equity that is being sought. So the clean hands doctrine is considered an affirmative defense that the defendant may claim. And they have a couple cases here. This one, the Holly Family Catholic School versus Boley, where the defendant opened an account at a pharmacy for the benefit of the plaintiff so that the plaintiff could obtain medication for his work-related injuries. The plaintiff charged items unrelated to the work-related injury. The defendant closed the account, and the plaintiff sued to keep the account open. The court held that the plaintiff's abuse of the account necessitated a finding that the plaintiff had unclean hands, and that requiring the defendant to keep the account open would be against good conscience. So, I think of some other examples, but yes, it's actually called the clean, in layman's terms, the clean hands doctrine. So, it's a legal principle that's well accepted. He who comes to equity must approach the court with clean hands. Someone says that it's not a rule of law, it's a statement of public policy enforced by the courts, and it looks clear and unqualified in its intentions. It's commonly understood that the maxim means that a claimant should be derived of all court-based remedies because of some dishonesty, misrepresentation, illegality, or unfairness. Of course, that's not correct. The principle does not always exclude all remedies. It doesn't apply as widely as you may first think either. So the remedies that are excluded are equitable remedies, and these include things like an injunction. So normally you have injunctions like stop people from doing something or forcing them to do something. A constructive trust, and laches, which is a loss of a remedy caused by delay, and equitable damages. So sometimes an application of the principle means that the entire case is struck out or summarily dismissed, which means it's thrown out of court. So it's not every type of case, but certain types of cases. So yes, reasonable force should be utilized at all times. Everton, good morning. El Rey says, I think AI may have meant for, Al, not AI. It does look like AI. May have meant for civilian guns or for killing. Okay, Faded says they don't necessarily have to turn out to be bad. Oh yes, we read this one. I mean, it's entirely up for them. I think they're both about 21, 22 years old. They have their entire lives ahead of them. We don't know how long that life is going to be or how short it's going to be. But the decisions that they have been making for the past 5 years of their lives, and they continue to make every single day, is detrimental to their well-being. So nobody's saying that stealing from tip jars, fighting in the streets, hanging out with gangbangers is going to be the death of you, but it could be the death of you if you don't decide to kind of turn things around. You can't continually make poor decisions and expect a good outcome. That's the point, really. So Catherine says they need to come across the right person or persons who will give them one big B-lick. Shaka Zulu says, what about reporting the crime in regards to the law? Do we have as citizens an obligation to report crimes? Yes. I mean, again, I guess there's nothing that's going to throw you in jail if you don't report a crime. Maybe in some circumstances, again, there's mandatory reporting. The police always encourage citizens, obviously for good reason. And so do we. If you see something happening and you can assist the police in their investigations, that you should do so. That's what part of being a good citizen, I think, is all about, really. And this is where I want to now talk about this concept of recording, right? Because a lot of people are like, oh, why y'all standing up, recording it and not doing something more? Sometimes the best thing that you can do is actually record it, honestly. Because what that does is that gives the police and others the ability to see for themselves precisely what happened. So in this type of situation, a camera obviously caught their actions, right? But imagine if they had no camera footage, and it was just an allegation. Of course, they come up with this cockamamie story. Oh, we're waiting for 2 hours for our food, blah, 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 blah. When you have video footage, a lot of times it's very difficult to argue with video footage. I mean, the footage shows you, as they say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. Video footage must be worth 1,000,000. Because honestly, a lot of times it explains a lot. Like here we are looking at the video footage. We're looking at the timestamp and saying, how likely is it that they would have been waiting from 12:30 to, or, they claim 2 hours. Of course, as we look at the footage, we think, that's not likely to have been what was going on here at all, especially given the time of morning that it was. Who's going to stand up and wait for 2 hours? And who on earth, more importantly, is going to be that busy at 2 something in the morning that it's going to take you 2 hours to get your food? Like, seriously? It is, what time did we say it was again? 2:52? No, hold on. Let me look at the timestamp separately. This time of morning, I would be really, really surprised that they're that busy that you'd even have to wait more than 10 minutes for food. It's not like the line's going out the door. So, yeah, these somebody said they're scammers. Absolutely. Absolutely. They think they're bright. But truth of the matter is, they're not so bright after all. So the timestamp on this is, let me just verify, 2:52 in the morning. So from 12:52, you've been standing up in a place waiting for food at that time of the morning? I sincerely doubt that is the case. So again, video footage being extremely helpful when you see it for yourselves. Damien says, so if we see someone, everyone drunk getting into their cars to go drive, do we stop them? So remember the incident that we reported on with the guy from the medical school, St. Matthew's? Let me try to remember when that was. And he was drunk and the girlfriend was drunk and he was the pharmacist professor or something at St. Matthew's. Let me see if I can find this video. So in that situation, you guys may remember that the guy whose car he hit actually attempted to stop him. And he got knocked down by the car. What was this guy's name again? It was St. Matthew's University. Hold on. Let me try to see. Oh gosh, what was his name again? Oh yes. And he was involved in a hit and run. So the guy tried to stop him. This was assistant professor of pharmacology at St. Matthew's School of Medicine, Dr. Robertos Hilgers. By the way, is he still around? Oh, well, they still have him up on the website. Wow, they didn't fire him after this? St. Matthew's must be desperate for employees. So, drunk driver attacks victims. So go back and read this story because you guys may not recall. I'll put the link here. You may not recall this, but this is one of those situations where the victims were actually attacked during the altercation because they were trying to stop him from leaving the scene of the crime. Thankfully, they had their cameras out. Thank God. They got a picture of him. They got video of him. They got the license plate number, right? See how their car got all scrapped up? And yeah, they ended up pushing them down. See the video footage here, intoxicated driver videos? Yep, here's the woman acting belligerent and cursing and carrying on. What a mess. So even when you try to intervene for your own sake, because this was their own hit and run situation, there you go. These crazy people almost killed the people who were trying to stop them from leaving the scene of the crime. And of course, the police were not any help because apparently they didn't even bother to go after him in that real-time moment. They allowed a drunk driver to be out on the roads. And the question was like, how do they do that? Dean Gillette says the only true justice is vigilante justice. Oh, Lord. You know, we try not to take that position, Dean, because you can get yourself in trouble with vigilante justice, because that is a very different situation. Anonymous says Haley and Shanae be around men that have guns and police records, and that's why nobody be around them or mess with them. Well, you know, a lot of these girls think that they have some degree of protection because they hang out with criminals. And normally what ends up happening is when other criminals go after those criminals, the girls become, they get caught in the crossfires, and people can see quite logically why that's the case. So, you know, they're living a very, very dangerous lifestyle, I would say. And, you know, we see it all the time in other jurisdictions, and Cayman would certainly be no exception, that a lot of them use girls to help them commit offenses and commit crimes, whether it's hiding drugs and weapons at the girlfriend's place or whatever. These things are very, very common. And, you know, countries like in the US, Honduras and other places where, you know, the women play a very pivotal role in gangs, and they are made to join gangs and to, you know, carry out different types of crimes and stuff as well. Everything from prostitution straight down to, you know, more serious offenses. Mark says, Sandy, anyone forget when the now minister at the time was at a nightclub and helped a lady that was being assaulted? Wasn't he not fired? That's a double negative. So what you really should have said is, was he not fired? Not wasn't he, but anyway. So because is silently chuckling. Wasn't he not fired from his job plus some what charge? So the question is, what's the point? It's a question for sure. And I can't remember all the details of his case. I do know that he was charged with assaulting police. And so he wasn't charged with, oh God, this is really taxing my memory. I think this is Kenneth Bryan we're talking about now. I think what ended up happening is that my apologies, I can't remember. But I think the only offense was assaulting. Yeah, the person said the now minister pushed a cop. So I think his situation was assaulting the police, not assaulting the boyfriend. So he did try to intervene and help the girl who was being attacked by the boyfriend. But as I recall, what happened was he wasn't able to de-escalate himself. And this is where, folks, you've got to be careful, because again, you put yourself in a situation, even when you're trying to be helpful, you up the ante, because y'all know what happens when. This is why some people do not get involved, because they themselves have a temper, and next thing you know, you flare up, you know, because you do have to be in a certain frame of mind to even interact with people like this. Like a lot of times you can't keep it calm, cool, and collected. Like, hey, why don't you just put that money back? Like, put the tip jar back. You know, they're gonna come at you in a certain way. So a lot of times you have to kind of, you know, put up your chest a little bit and be like, hey, drop the money. Just like the guy with the machete come out. What his name is again? Gerzong, right? Keith came out with a machete. I got chop you little son of a. I got chop. Yeah, he better come good, because if he come too soft, that criminal is gonna be like, oh, what are you gonna do? You're not prepared to use the machete. You too soft, and he's gonna challenge him. So you have to come with a certain degree of bravado. Maybe that's the right word that I'm looking for, if you are going to confront someone in the commission of a crime. And so I wasn't there, obviously, so I don't know all the details, but I'm just trying to recollect how this played out from the reports. I do think that what ended up happening is, even after he intervened with the guy who was beating up his girlfriend, the police then showed up, and then the minister should have backed down. And instead, what ended up happening is the now minister actually ended up, you know, pushing the police officer. And I think, to be fair to the minister, if I remember the sequence of events, there was some allegation that there was some allegation that the police actually thought that he was in the wrong, or he was the one who was assaulted. There was some miscommunication between the police, and this is back in 2016, so this is a while ago. There was some miscommunication between the police showing up at the scene and not making a proper determination of what was happening. And they probably had words with Kenneth, and then he pushed the police, and that was what the charge was. And yes, Alden fired him, but everybody under the sun knows that why Alden fired him had nothing to do with this. Alden fired him as a political move. It was all about politics. Because even back then, Kenneth was making some headway in some inroads in Georgetown Central, and his boss was concerned that he might potentially be coming for his seat. Mm-hmm. So he was found guilty of assault, but no conviction was recorded. 35-year-old at the time. He was essentially convicted of being rude to police after he tried to stop them arresting the wrong man following an incident in which Brian assisted an off-duty female police officer who was being threatened by an ex-lover. So the whole thing was quite a conundrum, to be sure. Let's take a quick commercial break here, folks.
Do you own a 1996 to 2016 Honda vehicle? There is an ongoing urgent safety recall regarding faulty Takata airbag inflators in Honda vehicles in the Cayman Islands. As affected vehicles get older, a combination of high temperatures and humidity can affect airbag inflators with the fault. If you're involved in a collision, the airbag can go off with too much explosive force, causing sharp metal fragments to shoot out and kill or seriously injure people in the vehicle. To check whether your vehicle is affected, go to HondaCayman.com/recalls. Honda will replace any defective airbag inflators completely free of charge. Contact the Car City service team to arrange this. Please take the time to check if your vehicle is affected by this urgent safety recall by going to HondaCayman.com/recalls now.
We're losing our culture, and we need to go back to the old days.
We don't stand tall anymore. We don't know who we are. We are already a minority, a numerical minority in Cayman.
We're too easily outnumbered. We didn't have large families, and so that's why we're at a disadvantage now. We don't have a national identity, and we're struggling to develop a national identity.
And that's why it is important for Caymanians to know where they're coming from.
When I ask Caymanian children, they don't know 1/10 of the things that I know about my heritage.
If we don't address where we're coming from, we're going to think that we're somebody else. And we're going to allow other people to come here and, as the Rastafarians would say, down-press our culture.
All right, folks. Yes, sir. What a heat. So just having a quick look to answer that question, Mark. I was having a quick look back at some stories to refresh my memory. So basically, he was found guilty, but no conviction was recorded. The magistrate, Philippa McFarlane, delivered her verdict and said that given the circumstances surrounding the offense, Brian had done the right thing when he went to the police officer's aid, but went too far when he spoke with police after the event. As a result of the guilty verdict, McFarlane gave Brian a probation order of 12 months and said that she was satisfied that he never intended for the situation to develop as it did. In order to ensure his future ambitions were not derailed any further, she said there would be no conviction recorded against him. The magistrate pointed out that even the officers in the case all agreed that Brian is of great assistance to the local community, and she felt he should be allowed to get back on track when it comes to the opportunities facing him. And so that was the situation there. But yes, you're right that Alden acted prematurely, in my opinion, and actually dismissed him from the position. But again, when you know the inner workings of what transpired, this was one of those things where it was politics. So Karen McQuaid, the off-duty officer whom Brian was assisting outside of a West Bay Road nightclub in October of 2014. My gosh, it's been that long already? Days on peace? No, sir. Wow. Time sure flies, honey child. Time sure flies. Was being harassed and threatened by a violent former lover, and he was not arrested on the night in question, which is so interesting, as officers arrested Brian and another man instead, allowing the perpetrator of the assault on the female officer to go free. Popo slipping up. He later went on to assault her again on other occasions before he was eventually charged and sent to jail. You can imagine. Who was he, by the way? Did we ever get a name for who he was? Hundreds and hundreds of women and children are the victims of domestic assault, Brian pointed out. But instead of focusing time and money to address these problems, the RCAPS appears to be spending time and money fighting those that are trying to do something about domestic abuse. Well, the irony of that is I wonder now that he is a minister, what has this government done to protect women in domestic abuse situations? We can't even get him to pass the what's it called? The sexual harassment legislation. The irony of it. And then they all sit back and allow other people, other ministers and other speakers of the House and whatever to assault women in their lives, and they sit back silently doing nothing. I'm just saying. Anybody sees the irony in that type of a situation? Okay, honey child. Now you're in a position to do something about it, but I don't see the focus. Anywho, after that was when he went on to do his talk show, right? He then went on Rooster and he co-hosted. Who's he co-hosting with? Was it with Austin? I can't remember if that's when the two of them co-hosted, but anyhow, what a hot mess. All right. Good morning, Lynette. Sonia's here. I think justice prevailed, innocent until proven guilty. Is that law here? If you shoot someone in the back fleeing, that would be murder. Yeah. That's it's not like a written law. It is a matter of common law. You can't shoot. You can't use excessive force, right? So the situation with the little old man, what was his name again? Somebody had mentioned his name last week, I think it was. But the situation with him is the man came into his house, the robber came into his house in the wee hours of the morning. He had something on him. I can't remember what it ended up being in the end, but of course he wouldn't have known if it was a gun, if it was a knife. Like in a situation like that where somebody's actually in your house and they're broken into your house, the law allows you a bit more liberty to then do what you got to do, honey child. So, yes, in those types of situations, the law will definitely not be, the law is more on your side if you take matters into your own hand and you smack him with something good, or you even end up shooting him. So that old man, there's a lot of factors given his age, the time of day that the person came in. He was a hardcore criminal, multiple offender, always burglarizing and breaking into people's homes. And he, picked the wrong house that night, honey child. And let me be very, very clear. Everyone in the community were like, y'all not touching this old man. Even me. I remember when it happened. And I said, good for him. Too bad for the criminal. And Shanae is not 18, honey child. She's at least 21. And I think Haley's just a couple months younger than her. They're very, very close in age. So they're pretty much the same age, just a few months apart. So Shanae's 21. So yes. So, at the end of the day, folks, he kind of got what coming to him, but a lot of people in the community were like, listen, y'all don't even think about touching this old man because he did the right thing. Him and his poor wife, I think it was, were home sleeping, minding their own business, trying to have a peaceful night. And then all of a sudden they got somebody breaking into their house. What a mess. Denny and Al having conversation there about guns and so on. Anonymous says Shanae has a baby. She lives in West Bay. Haley doesn't have any kids, but she's always in trouble. And the comment where someone said about young girls, this is true. She's always with girls 13 and 14 years old. Oh, so I wonder if Haley, can y'all please inform Haley today that if these allegations are true, there is an offense of grooming that is considered a very serious offense that is now codified in law. So Haley, if you're grooming 13 and 14-year-old girls to be with men, adult men in particular, and if you take them to hotels to meet adult men, you should know that that is a criminal offense. And maybe the RCIPS now needs to start carrying out some investigations into your movement and keeping a very, very close eye on you. I mean, I'm not here to tell them how to do their job, but I am here to tell them how to do their job. So I'm just saying, you all hear these allegations. There's no need for a 21-year-old woman to be around a 13 and 14-year-old child. Parents, this is where you need to remain vigilant. Warn your children. You see their pictures. See her hair? See her picture there? Any of your girl children hanging around her, you need to put an end to it forthwith. There's no need for a 21-year-old, anything, man or woman, to be hanging out with a 13-year-old child unless that is their sibling, maybe an aunt or a close relative, and it makes a little bit more sense. When you have people like this, randos trying to hang out with young teens, there's something wrong. They've got stunted growth. Well, that we know, but it's still not right. So have them step aside. Don't be talking to your children. Pure slackness. Absolutely agree with Siobhan. Johan is in the house. Johan finally arrived to class late this morning. Good morning, Johan. Damien says, because the police be jumping on you. And yeah, I mean, in this case, even with the minister, obviously the police, kind of got it wrong and made the guilty party completely get away that night. Why, Johan says, why does KB name live in your mouth? What the Johan, don't be stupid this morning. There's a question that was asked and the question was answered just like anybody else. And I wanted to answer it in a complete manner with accurate information. His name don't live in my mouth, but what you need to do sometimes is shut your mouth and stop appearing to be stupid. Because I know that you're not. There's no need for Kenneth Bryan's name to live in my mouth. But let me be very, very clear. He is an elected official. So even if his name was living in my mouth, what you gonna do about it? He's an elected official. Y'all are ridiculous with these elected officials. Don't get me started this morning, Johan. I don't know what side of the bed you woke up on, but I woke up on the right side. Am I making myself crystal clear this morning? Just want to make sure, honey child. Somebody said send this to Denny and Al. Oh Lord. So yes, apparently there were some people that actually spoke to Mr. Bowen. Thank you so much for reminding me of the name. I think the guy that was fighting his police girlfriend is Jermaine Seymour. Jermaine Seymour, who the heck is he? All right, let's continue. Unless you're G Maxwell, you're going to resort prison. Mr. Bowen, he used to own the laundromat on Smith Road. Okay. Siobhan says RCIPS definitely should, because nobody would be grooming no teenagers, and even if they close, still no. Honey child, keep doing what you do, says Dana. Good morning, Dana. Siobhan says, Johan, you always get in trouble. Child, please. Now look where he gone. Gabby says he need number the next to block. Oh, Gabby's saying that we should block Johan. Oh Lord. Miss Olive says, from the day I land in Jamaica, I can't wake up early again, shaking my head. Must be the soft breezes of the mountain, child. That blue mountain getting to you. Sandy says, Strong Will, you're cursing out your friend, your best friend this morning, Johan. Listen, anybody who not got no sense can get it. And sometimes Johan ain't got no sense. I'm just saying. Oh, thanks for the beautiful, an extra crispy. What is this called again? Breadfruit this morning? Yes, sir. We got Bama in the house. This is something I hardly ever see around the place. Delicious. I know, El Ray. Pour your hand. All right. Let's move on from the thieves and talk about a few other things. First of all, we wish to express our condolences to the family. Give me one quick second. I'm going to pull up a video of 1 second here. The family of Captain Harrison. He passed away. How old was he? I don't actually, I mean, the picture I saw, he looks kind of young in that picture, but I guess that was before he retired and everything. So give me 1 second here. Let me see if I can grab this. So big shout out to Kev for this video link. This was back in the day. How long ago was this, by the way? We have a recording of when he was retiring. Let me just see if I can pull up when that would have been. And we do have a video interview of him back when he retired. So he passed away yesterday. This was 8 years ago. Wow. 77 years old. Someone said they think he was 77 years old. Oh my gosh, my sweets. So unfortunately, he has passed away, and he flew with Cayman Airways over 40 years. So quite an amazing history with our national airline. So we'd like to extend our condolences to, everyone who worked with him. Said he was such a nice person. Somebody said one of the best pilots ever, and just a really good person as well. So I will show you guys this interview that we are really, really fortunate to have access to.
Joined Cayman Airways on March the 15th, 1972, probably before you were born. And I started out with the DC-3. That's all the aircraft they had then. Flew that inter-island, and then in 74, or late 74, early 75, went on to the Bach 111, the jet. And then worked the way up, all the way from there through the other aircraft, 727s, DC-9s, and then the 737s, 2, 3, and 400s. And then back to what I really love doing, the Twin Otters. And it was really good for me, and I enjoyed it. I still enjoyed it up till today. But unfortunately, there comes a time when regulations take over, and being 65 tomorrow is mandatory retirement. So today was the last day legally that I could fly. So that's what I wanted to do. Around the first part of March in 72, I got a phone call from Mr. Norman Borden. He was the general manager at the time, asking me to come to the airport that afternoon. I did, and when I got up there, he said, "You're hired, start training immediately." From there on, then it was just go, 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 till now. I'm only retiring from the flying part of it. I'm going to remain in the office, because I still want to be around aircraft. So I'll be working close with Johan, the general manager of Express, and doing a lot more boating and those type of things, fishing. more time with the family. I just want to thank everyone that I've worked with, starting with all the managers of Cayman Airways over the years, the maintenance department, all the traffic controllers, ramp control agents, ticket agents in both stations. No, all three stations actually. That's here, Brack and Little Cayman, all the fire department, and just everyone in general, all the public that's traveled up and down with me over the years. Sincere thanks to all of them.
So, what an amazing history. 40 years with our national airline. Like I said, definitely before I was born. So this is Captain Bothwell. And there's actually an interesting story about him, Harrison Bothwell. I'm going to share this with you guys. Hold on one second here. Let me see if I can pull this up. Such an interesting life, really, that he led. But he actually saved someone's life. Now listen to this, talking about, stepping forward and doing the right thing in our communities. Let me share this snippet from way back in 1973, I believe it was. Hold on now. Here we go. So this is a very, very interesting story. Cal pilot makes safe landing after Brack flight loses engine. So, wow. What an amazing historical, situation. So it says that it was just another routine run last Monday afternoon, flying to DC-3 to Cayman Brack. The pilot, Captain Harrison Bothwell of West Bay, had just left the runway at Georgetown when a load of 16 passengers and considerable cargo in the Cayman Airways plane, but had about 200 feet altitude. And then he says, then there was a horrible noise and vibration in the number one engine on the left, and the cowling began shaking, recalls Bothwell. Captain Bothwell, though only 25, had a great deal of training and more than 2,200 hours of flying time, with 1,400 of those on the DC-3. Many times he had practiced emergency procedures for handling a dead engine, but he'd never experienced the real thing. And having an engine go out on takeoff with a load of passengers and only 200 feet altitude was all too real. But the Cayman Airways pilot talks about the experience Monday as though it wasn't difficult. He said, I feathered the prop on that engine right away, then trimmed the controls to compensate for the loss of power, and began a turnaround back to the Owen Roberts Airport. The cool-headed pilot notified the airport tower and kept the plane flying well enough to go around the runway and make an upwind landing. I didn't lose any altitude with the engine out. I just didn't gain any. And what about the passengers? How did they take it? He said, well, some were shook up, but not any worse than you would expect. As for the cause of the engine failure, Bothwell comments, it's just one of those things. He has full faith in the Cal ground crew and in the plane. And over the weekend, the mechanics had made a compression check on the engine and all seemed to be normal. When the failed engine was torn down on Tuesday, it was discovered that the piston rings had broken into small pieces. Wow. So Captain Bothwell said of the experience that it took a while to get things back to normal while in flight, but we found out she'll fly on one engine. In addition, he said the malfunction gave me more confidence in the plane. Now I know what it can do. So this was back, folks, in 1973, I believe it is, that happened. Wow. Isn't that amazing? Wow. 50 years ago, coming up now on 51 years that happened. Truly amazing. So, again, our condolences to the family of, I mean, I know the Bothwells are from West Bay, but which Bothwells would that be? Mr. Clarence and them? Is he a brother to them? But, you know, just an amazing Caymanian nonetheless. So, yeah. Wow. All right. So he passed away. Really, really sad to hear that, obviously. Up to last year, he was also a member of the NCC. And, you know, I know that he served in a number of different capacities over the years. So he will surely be missed. 77 is still so young. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Okay. Someone says Captain, a legend. Let me see here now. I want to read a comment that someone sent me yesterday about him as well. They said, absolutely one of KX's finest, and they put finest in quotes. I had so much respect for him. Heartbroken today. So yes. And then we had another loss. I was kind of taken aback by this one because I think she's kind of young actually. So I was a bit surprised to hear that Miss Dorothy Worms actually passed away as well. My sources said it was something relating to her heart, and basically she would have required a heart bypass surgery, and she opted not to do that. So, you know, people have a right to choose not to do surgery if they don't want to. And unfortunately, she's passed away. So I think she was only 59, if my memory serves me correctly. So really sad to hear. Sad situation. So her condolences go out to the Worms family as well. I know that, you know, they are, you know, definitely feeling that loss here today. Yeah, very sad. All right, let's keep it moving. All right, so in other weekend events, of course, Capella went off without a hitch. Savannah Newlands Bothwells, so not the West Bay Bothwells. A legend, says Debbie. No, 67. Who was 67? Miss Dorothy? She was born in 64. So that would make her, what year are we in? 2024? 2024 minus, oops, hold on. 2024. Isn't that 59, almost 60? 1964. She would have been 60 this year. Andrew says, thanks for your contribution in the aviation sector. May your soul rest in peace. Debbie says, I think she's Percy Worms' sister. I don't know if Percy Worms is related to them, but these are the Worms that came via Jamaica. So speaking of Cayman Airways, Fabian Worms would probably be her, maybe like a cousin or something. Could they be siblings? I don't know if they're siblings, but so I think Miss Dorothy, yeah, I'm trying to think now if Miss Dorothy, but those are all related, but I don't know if Percy Worms and Cayman Brack would have been related to them. I don't know if that's a different set of worms. Oh, Al Ray says Percy would have been her uncle, I think. She was 67, but how can she be 67 if she was born in 1964? That don't add up. Says born July 13th, 1964. I mean, that's what her profile says. I don't know. So Percy was Dorothy's uncle. Okay, maybe cousins. Ozzy's brother. Which Ozzy? It's so interesting because, you know, families like the Worms, she would have been 60, said somebody else. She was going to be 60 this year. So yeah, I think all of the Worms are still, they're fairly new to Cayman in a sense. Maybe the first generation is still very much around. So they're all connected. I think that someone says she was born in 57. Oh, but she had 64 in her. Maybe she's trying to be younger. So she had she said on her thing, she has it, she was born in 64, but maybe she was trying to be a little 10 years younger. But thank you for confirming that. Oswald, Millie Worms, all the Worms are family. Yes. I was gonna say there's still very much like there hasn't been like multiple generations yet where you might have had Worms come from somewhere else. They're all and I think they all came by way of Jamaica, right? They all have connections. So our condolences to the Worms family. I understand she has one child. That's got to be really tough as well. Our condolences to them also. Very, very sad situation. What a mess. All right. So thank you. Graduated in 1974. Miss Della, you sound like you went to school with her. Damien says, but you know Percy passed away like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Yes, I am aware that he also passed away in the BRAC. And that was a sad situation because my understanding is, unfortunately, he died a week or so before and they didn't even know that. He was discovered afterwards. So sorry. Very bad, very, very sad situation. So, you know, we live in a community where our people are very much interconnected and we all, you know each other and know of each other and have interactions. Even more so, quite frankly, with Facebook and, you know, being able to communicate with each other and that sort of thing. So yeah, very, very sad. You know, you feel like you know people. Sometimes you don't necessarily know them very well, but because of social media and stuff like that, you do get to connect with people on a different level. So I know Dorothy and I, you know, were Facebook friends, and she was very, very active a lot of times on social media. So someone mentioned that she was Mr. Ozzy. Her father is Mr. Ozzy, and she was the eldest child of Ozzy. She had 7 children. Okay, so Dorothy was 67. She was born in 57. All the Worms are family. Percy was her uncle, and she had 7 children. Oh, somebody told me she only had 1 child. Maybe that was just the first marriage. And she was the eldest of Ozzy's children. So condolences to all of her children. Thank you very much for clarifying those details for me. So somebody says, oh yeah, somebody sent the video of Kovan. They said, just in case your audience needs a reminder on this one, perhaps you can share this hot mess of a situation. I don't know. Do y'all need a reminder? I think you all remember exactly what happened. Oh, well, just in case. There we go. They were probably, I'm going to mute it because knowing them, they were all cursing. Because that's how they rule, honey child. She always there she is, fighting with a beer in the hand. She can't even put the beer down. She's making the beer spill. So she was attacking the boyfriend and hitting him with the beer can. And he kind of kicks her with his foot at first. And then she comes at him again. He gets up and gives her one kapow. This is horrible. And I mean, when I say he knocks her out cold, she is on the ground like, oh my God, I can't believe it. She didn't have to go to the hospital after that TKO. Jeez on peace. No, man. Then he goes and lifts her up, rolls her over, a bunch of drunks, addicts, child. Then he's like, oh, honey, I didn't mean to knock you out. You okay? Come, TD. Let me pick you up. Okay. Sit down here. Have another drink. All right, Bobo. Thank you, Bobo. Yeah. Get me another hit of crack, please. Okay, honey, child. Let me go get you a rock. This is me narrating what I think the conversation would have been like. And then she goes, falling over again. What a lick. Wow. My God. It's horrible to see a woman being assaulted like that. But of course, everybody's like, listen, she was provoking the man and she was beating him up. And I don't know that he had to hit her like that. But then, I don't know the history between these people because I hear they always fighting and fussing and carrying on like idiots. So I guess he knew that if he didn't stop her, she would have continued. Lord have mercy. No, sir. One lick, with it. And the thing is he left-handed? Because he actually hit her with the left hand. I'm thinking to my God, it's a good thing he didn't hit it with the right hand. Because geez, peace. No, sir. I mean, that probably wasn't a full blow if he not left-handed. He like her, he was not going to give up the beer in the other hand. He was holding on to the beer in the right hand. I bet you he's right-handed. And so she still got only half a TKO. And nothing not changing. They still fussing, fighting, and still together. You see, people like this, you can't help her now, because you see these men standing around, speaking of helping people when a crime is being committed. Obviously, this guy knocked her out. You see the other guys, they're not doing nothing. They just stand there looking because they're like, boy, if we get involved in this, she gonna beat us up, he gonna beat us up. They're gonna be making up tonight and lovey-dovey all over again. So see how the guy just walks away? He walks away and leaves them because people know. Don't get involved in craziness like this. So going back to our question of the day, you see this mess happening. Are you going to intervene? Domestic situations are some of the worst situations to get involved in. Those are the ones that you definitely, oh my God, if you're going to domestic situations, because that same victim, she's going to be the one like, what are you touching my boyfriend for? But woman, he just knocked you out. Yeah, but you leave him alone. I love him, I love him. Miss Sandy. That my man, he been beating me for 20 years now. That's okay. Oh my God. Johan talking about he's here for the narration. This is a different kind of love. Love. My dear. Hot mess. I'm telling you. Those are situations you don't get involved in. That's why in the United States of America, they have a very, very simple rule. They show up to domestic situation, somebody going to jail, and a lot of times they don't even care who, because they have to separate these people because they're so crazy. So if they can clearly see who is the aggressor, you going to jail, and sometimes it's both of them. They can haul y'all both off to jail because you need a cooling off period. No, sir. I tell you what, these people are local. So that's Shanae's mother. So you can see where the problems are flowing, right? I mean, with an example of like that in her life. Woo, let me buy the my bread food over here, honey chill. When Shanae see that growing up, no wonder she damaged. But Shanae, listen up. Listen to Auntie's words of wisdom. You're now 21 years old. Your life does not have to be your mother's life. You can change your life. You can do better. I think at one point you were doing okay in school. What happened? Well, I know what happened. Parenting, bad parenting. You see that dysfunction every day. That's going to take a toll on you, honey child. That breaks you down as a little kid. But you can do better. Is that what you want for you and your daughter, to have a life like that? Well, you're going to be a grandmother, at least in your 50s, maybe pushing 60, and a man knocking you out on the beach, and you carrying on fighting and fussing like stupid people? What a mess. Siobhan says, I hate to say it, but bad apple didn't fall far from that tree. Poor girl. Hot mess, honey chill. All right. Let me see what y'all saying. This person says, stop it. You're making me laugh. Okay. So in other weekend news, Capella went off without a hitch. Good show, good performances. Everybody was very, very happy. Full crowd. I told y'all that it was pretty much sold out. Let me, I got some video footage here. Performances were good. Everybody loved it. I had one person there in love with Damian Marley. I actually have a picture of me and Damian Marley when he came and performed some years ago there in the Strand. Let me see if I can dig that up. Let me see. I might be able to look it up. Yes, honey chill. Y'all are all up in the man Kool-Aid about, oh my gosh, he's so cute. He looks so good. I'm like, listen, I'm not into Damien like that. But he's an artist. So I appreciate his oh yeah. Look at Auntie. I'm gonna show y'all this picture. This is back in 2013. Wow. Honey chill. Auntie went out for the evening. Don't y'all be getting jealous now. We all need our adult time, honey chill. But you guys know I don't drink or anything like that. So he was performing at, I can't remember who brought him, but anyway, he's performing. And there we are. Look at me, Damien. Oh, so cute. I know, right? I seem like a chill guy. We just took a quick little picture. It is what it is. Rough C says VIP was too full. Well, didn't they had more VIP areas set up this time? I mean, it's always hard to gauge exactly how best to allocate the space. And so yeah. He seems like a really kind of just a chill guy. Like he seems very, kind of on the quietish side. So let's share a couple video clips. But yes, honey child, that was me and Damien Marley. Strong Will says Sandy. I hope Marlon looking, laughing out loud. That was the same year, funny enough, that Marlon and I started dating, honey chill. So Marlon wasn't worried about nothing. Oh my gosh. Yes, sir. Bring it on in, honey chill. Bring it on in. 11 years ago. Oh my goodness. Marsha says, look at you back in the day. Looking good, Auntie Sandy. I know I got to get back there. I got to dig out. See if I still have that dress in the closet and dig it out and get back there. This one time you were on the prowl. Hear this one now. No, sir. He's tall and handsome. I don't know that he's that tall because I'm short. I'm only 5'5". So he's probably, 5'7"? Maybe. He's not 6 foot for sure. So I wouldn't say that he's tall. What did Rough C says that secondhand smoke got you smiling from ear to ear? Nope. No smoking allowed in the venue. Sandy was a groupie too. No, Johan. Hey, Vanessa talking about hot gal summer. All right. Y'all stop looking at me with your comments. Okay. This was from Saturday. So fair to say that people had a fantastic time. So congratulations to all of the producers, performers, and Kenny Rankin and his whole crew who put this event together. This is a couple years now that they've had this fantastic music festival, Capella Music Festival, bringing in some pretty, some pretty good headliners there for sure. And I think every year they continue to get better and better. So it was very, very good to see. I heard lots of positive comments about the entire show. So well done. All right. Let me see. I think I have another. I can pull up another video here. Hold on one second. Those of you who missed it, you missed a good time. Honey, chill. So we've got some. Let me just unzip this file, extract all. Yes. Okay, let's give that a minute to extract. Everybody on Instagram, y'all okay over there, honey chillin'? Y'all be so quiet on Instagram. They be like, we better behave because Sandy will block us. They know the score. Yes, sir. They're like, we don't want to get blocked. All right, let me see. Honey chill. All right, so Friday's show was kind of hot, huh? With the minister, and you guys had lots and lots of thoughts. Food for thought, and I know that definitely people are paying attention and they're listening. So your constructive comments are not falling on deaf ears. I can tell you that much. All right, let's see now. We got some more videos here. All right, let's play this one.
Together we've grown.
Oh yeah.
Things fall apart. All I want you to know, your love is life changing. And I couldn't be the same without you, darling. Yo, gamers, let's see our lines waving one more time. Please, our lines up.
Nice. I don't want to play the whole song because they might end up blocking us on YouTube or something. So I'll just play a couple snippets. Let's see. Crowd was singing and getting all into it as well.
Again.
I think would y'all consider him the most popular of the Marley children in terms of his own career? Of course, nobody has been able to eclipse their own father, but that's to be expected, right? Junior Gong Marley, I think he might be the one that's the most well known. And of course, singing some of his own father's tunes there. Let me see here. Yeah, so he performed quite a few songs. We'll post some of these up on social media. There are. Yeah, the audio is clipping a little bit there. That happens when it's overmodulated. But anyway, good performance. So y'all was sending me pictures of people, honey chat, like, ooh, Sandy, look at this one. She thinks she's 20. And I was like, leave people alone. This is a situation where you just leave people alone. They just enjoying themselves. They're just having a good time. Yes, if they want to show off their sexy bodies, good for them. I'm here for it. Do your thing, honey child, when you're not harming nobody and our business with that kind of stuff. So congratulations, Capella Music Festival 2024. Big shout out to, again, all of the organizers. I see enough y'all post that pictures. Yes, sir. This one had midriff showing, I tell you. Hot girl. Ooh, yes, sir. Kanika. I see you there, girl. I see you with the outfit. Midriff showing. What? That's the thing when you go to these music festivals, honey child. You got to show up to impress. Full beat face and everything. Yes, sir. All right. They also had the brunch yesterday. And yeah, all right, good. Capella Music Festival. Oh, look at this one with her little outfit. Wow. I see you there, mama. Miss Lillian. Yes, look at the leg. What? Oh my goodness, mess with you. Al was there enjoying himself. Al, I see your videos. He's got some of those posted. El Ray, you were there complaining. Was that you complaining this year? Oh gosh, he was complaining about the sound system. Okay then. Anyway, congratulations. All right, let's move on. One of my favorite experiences of Capella Music Festival is definitely Studio 54. sandbar, daiquiri bar, and grill tent. Your girl was tired by the end. I could sit, get up, and dance, get some cool breeze from the large fans, no lines for drinks. Best part was they provided 3-way headphones so I could listen to the stage as if I was on stage. You could also listen to Studio 54's DJ or the Supernova tent. And did I mention Chicken Go? So that's 2 things, but chef's kiss on the loaded jerk chicken over fries. I definitely got their plantain rolls as well. I don't take as much photos and videos because I was soaking in the experience. Overall, I say hands down for looking forward to next year. Hands down, we'll be looking forward to next year. All right. Oh, one of the guys from what's his name, Bernardo, he was there. From the what's it called? Cayman Hall of Shame, Walk of Shame. What's the show called? That one. Yes, Kevin was there at Festival Greens. Kai, what you were doing there, honey chat? Look at you. All dapper looking with his little hat on. I see you. I see you. Everybody dresses impressed for these types of events. I'll have you know. It's a thing. Oh, somebody's calling me. Honey chat. Who is this calling me? Good morning. Hello. Not too bad. How you doing? Oh, yes. I'm just actually on air at the moment. Can I get... Oh. Okay. So I can just stop by and grab those. Okay. Thank you so much. All right, honey. Bye-bye. Honey chill. That's the lawyers saying registered documents are ready. All right, honey chill. Thank you very much. Efficient. This person says Capella today. See you next week. Vanessa, what do you mean by that? Y'all was spending your CUC money? Well, I hope not. Paula was there at Capella. Look at Paula, her and Heidi. Very nice. Having a fantastic time. Tamara was there, my little travel buddy Tamara. Oh yeah, having a good time. Lisa was there. Hey, Lisa, girl. She said, big thanks to our national airline at Capella Music Festival. I look forward to my next rum punch on my way to Los Angeles. Nice. So Kim Airways was there. They had stewardesses dressed in their full ensemble. Beautiful. Yeah, it was definitely a good time. All right, honey chill. Okay, let me see what that secondhand. Nope, Ref C's, we read that one already. Strong Will says, Sandy, did you leave Marlon at home? I don't tend to go to these events without Marlon. In fact, a lot of times I send him without me, like the opposite happens. So I'm just like, yeah, you know, I twisted my knee. I'm going to stay home and ice it. And he needs to get out more. So, yeah. Marlon looking like one of Bob Marley's sons. My Marlon? No, honey child, not him. He's very, he went and got his hair cut last week. He's very straight and narrow. You would never see Marlon in dreadlocks. I mean, he doesn't really have the type of hair that would do well with dreadlocks anyway, but he has a brother, maybe 2 brothers, who probably 2 of his brothers. There's 2 that are a little bit more straight-laced and 2 that are, you know, they have the longer hair and to probably a little bit more of that sort of thing. Rough Seas, yes, says he's got more hits than the rest of them. The grandson killing it right now, though. Oh, yes, the little kid. Look, he's a little, like 12 or something, right? He's pretty young. Siobhan says Barb Marley, of course, is a legend. They need to create their own identity, their own songs. Yes, I mean, for sure. I guess they're trying to do that, but it's got to be hard to create your own identity when you're in the shadows of a legend like Bob Marley. I mean, come on. The second you hear the Marley name, you're like, oh, that Marley? Okay. The That's when he made his song with who? Skrillex? I don't even know who that is. It was horrible. The sound system was horrible, says Vanessa. Oh. Johan, get in the back of the classroom before we forcibly put you back there. Andrew says condolences to the family of the late Dorothy Worms. Yes, we were talking about that earlier. Thank you, Andrew. May the family heal throughout this difficult period. Finding closure takes time. Johan says Sun and Bun in Paradise is the name of the show. Festival Green Ground was too dusty. Don't wear your fancy shoes. Well, you never wear El Rey fancy shoes in an outdoor venue. You wear comfortable shoes, honey child. And don't wear white sneakers either. You wear something dark and that you can just rinse off. Like wear your Crocs. Those are the ideal shoes for a venue like this. Socks and Crocs. That's what you need. He says, my black shoes were gray after. Do they ever, I'm curious to know, do they ever wash it down? Because it does, that venue, it's a good outdoor space and it's really the only one that we have for outdoor concerts and whatever now. But I do wonder if they rinse it down or anything like that. The other thing I was thinking of is if they could make it any better with like the turf grass, like the fake grass. Do you think it would keep the dust down more? I'm not really sure. I'm just asking questions. Sean Will, some days people like to complain too much. Well, that's the key man in way too. Love to complain. Okay, so someone says, hey, hun, can you help me send this out to Ma Road? My friend is in need of assistance. She's a single mom of 4. We need to talk about that. Single mom of 4. How old is she? Does she have her tubes tied? Single mom of 4 means you don't need to have no more. Okay. So the first thing we need to get you sorted out on is some good permanent birth control. She's 29 years old. Yeah, we need to stop you now, honey child, because you still got plenty of childbearing years left. We need to introduce you to a doctor who can do a vasectomy. Not a vasectomy. That's for men. What's a woman called? Tubal ligation. 4 is more than enough when you don't have a job and you're homeless. Okay. Moving on. Single mom of 4 and is in need of help finding a 1 or 2 bedroom, light and water included, and the landlord will accept NAU payments. She's homeless and needs assistance with the public help. My contact number is, I don't know if you want to put your contact number, but okay. People need more information. Thanks. Also sleeping in a car with 4 kids. In car, poor thing with 4-month-old baby. Honey child, please get your tubes tied. I'm telling you. Do not have a number 5, 29 and 4 kids. That means you're pretty fertile. I'm just saying. No more. I'll post it up, honey child, but I can tell you what, unfortunately, when people hear these stories, it used to be a time, please post for public assistance. There used to be a time when this type of post garnished a lot of public sympathy, but I can tell you the opposite now happens. Can I just be real with y'all? What ends up happening now is most of you, like just like me, you're like 4 kids, 29, what the heck? Y'all are not minded to help people like that because you're like, what you got 4 kids for? Ugh. We'll put it up, but I can tell you, unfortunately, most people are not as sympathetic because they want you to take some accountability for the plight that you're in. And it's unfortunate because the children ultimately are the ones who suffer. By the way, one way to ensure that children do not suffer is if you have the space in your home and the right sort of circumstances, they're always looking for good foster parents and good foster placement. Sometimes you find that Department of Family Services just needs a temporary placement for children. And if you can help, by all means, reach out to them. I think they have like a sort of wait list of people who they can utilize for emergency placement. Something happens and they need foster care assistance. So please, that is one way in which you can offer some assistance to children, especially. So if you're able to help out. But I've been kind of mulling it over myself, but oh my God, it's such a difficult situation. I think that if I were single in the sense that I didn't have any young children, or probably any children at all, to be honest, I would do foster care, foster homes. But my biggest concern is my own child, and I can't expose her, unfortunately, to chaos. Like I just can't. So, it's like, on the one hand, I'm trying to help other people, but I can't throw my own to the wolves. And, having children be in a very settled environment without any sort of influences in the home, I think is very, very important. So it's unfortunate because, a lot of people, their heart is willing, but when they try to figure out the logistics of it all, of how it would work, I'm not really too sure. And then Magdalene makes a very good point, which I've also thought of as before, as a lot of the parents bring drama to the families that foster. And we're not going to do that. We're definitely not going to do that. And, it's expensive to raise children, especially if you're trying to do it a particular way. So even if I'm fostering a child, I'm not going to treat them any less than how I'm treating my own child. So, of course, if we're taking vacations, we got to factor in now that's 2 going on vacation. I can't foster a child and be like, oh, well, my child is going to go to a private school, but the foster kid, I'm going to take and drop him off at John Gray, who doesn't even have a middle school. So inappropriate. The government really needs to change that. 2 things I'd love to see change with education. By the way, we still haven't had our education discussion yet, but it's on come. 2 things I would love to see change with education. Number 1, put the middle school back in place. Put the middle school back in place. Too much to have these older kids mingling with 10-year-olds. It's ridiculous. The other thing is, let us offer integration. Now, it's going to take time for the second one to really be impactful, but stop this nonsense of making people believe, although it's not entirely true, that government schools are only for Caymanian children. You have created a separate and unequal system between private schools and government schools. Interjecting non-Caymanians into government schools is good for our children in more ways than one. And we should really, really, in my opinion, do those 2 things. Anyway, I don't know who's listening that's over in education, because we know the minister not listening, or so she claims. Everton says, where's the father of those poor children? How can a man, it's probably more than one father, but anyway, how can a man sit aside, or a boy, and see such a thing happening today? Not even the woman, but the children don't even shame common people. Huh? Strong Will asking the same question. Where's the baby daddies? Siobhan says, yes, tight tubes don't work. Know someone who had their tubes tied and she still got pregnant. It works in the vast majority of cases, Siobhan. That's not a reason not to do it. I mean, trust me. Tubal ligation is extremely successful for the vast majority of people. Nothing is 100%. Failure rate. Let me tell you what the failure rate is. So failure rate is less than 1%. You're more likely to win the lottery than have this fail. So just do it. Everybody always like, I know that one person. And there's probably a reason why that failed in her particular instance. Less than 1%, that is the most effective birth control, other than abstinence, which y'all don't seem to be able to adhere to. That is the best option for birth control. All right, Radio Land, we're going to cut you off. I'm going to go into just a couple minutes of overtime because I got a stack of papers over here that I need to sort out today. I'm going to be doing desk work most of the day because I just got paperwork from my yin yang to my young. It's paperwork everywhere. El Ray says, yes, put down some turf. That's what I was thinking over the weekend too, you know. Anywho, radio folks, we'll see y'all tomorrow morning, and tune in early because our friends from Health City will be here giving away more executive health checks. Get your free health check, honey child. He'll probably give away 3 or 4 tomorrow. So make sure you tune in for that, okay? Y'all be good. And Instagram, social media, let's continue the conversation. Yes, tubal ligation is very, very effective. Trust me, y'all need to try it. I'm just saying, get it done. Miss Della says, she told me she was Miss Maldine granddaughter asking for change on Sunday out in Georgetown. When I asked her why she never had a job, she quickly told me she's taken care of. What? She's taken care of by God. Ooh, honey child, let me pull up the breakfast. Yeah, I definitely need a crunchy moment here. Taken care of by God. I gave her the change and told her to try and break the curse. But hold on a second now. If she's being taken care of by God, why you give her anything? But God's supposed to take care of her? Miss Della, seriously? I gave her the change. Told her to try and break the curse, find a job, and she told me no. What the? God is taking care of her. You see the stupidity? God needs to strike y'all down here. God is like, listen, I did not mean to create such stupid people. Lightning, strike her. That was God thinking for him. He gets blamed for every nonsense under the sun. So I told her, next time you see me, don't ask me for anything unless you have a job. Well, the good news is if she had a job, she wouldn't be asking me for anything. So I don't know what do these people, honey child. You probably shouldn't have given her no change because she faced it. Even raking someone's yard, she left me and went on to ask the other lady nearby. Scammers, honey child. Rafsi says, I don't even want to foster a dog or a cat. Lord have mercy. Siobhan says they should have never taken out the middle school in the first place. They need to stop force rushing children through the system. And they're not learning nothing, much or if at all, in the schools. Sad but true. Hey, David. Phone was returned. Thanks, Sandra. Oh, you found a phone? Most of the time, it's not me posting those. You know, it's my assistant. But glad to know we reunited somebody with another phone. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Just take out everything. Then they wouldn't have any kids once they've had 2 or 3, says Marshall. Olive says, I did tubal ligation 33 years ago now. No problems. It's the best. Everson says turf grass sounds good, but it's very expensive. I'm not sure if they will install that because they will tear it up and it's very expensive. Everton, that's Uncle Dart. He's a kabillionaire. You heard me? Not just a billionaire, a kabillionaire. That means you got a couple kabillions. He can afford it. There might be other reasons why they don't want to do it there. But it's not, the money would not be the issue, I can assure you. All right, Damien says, God or Yahweh don't need any money. Marshall says, when she said that she's been taken care of by God, I would have taken back my change. First of all, she said it before she gave her the change, so I wouldn't have given her any. I'm like, yes, God can help you, but don't forget, God helps those who help themselves. So you know how you can help yourself? It's called go and get a job. That's what you do first. Go get a job, honey child. Oh, these people too ridiculous. Seriously, they are just on a next level. I don't even know what to say. Sometimes I just have to shake my head. But, you know, I think, unfortunately, we become part of the problem. because we have been cuddling and cahoodling and everything, these young people, and it makes them feel like they can just do whatever and get away with it. My God. Siobhan says, laughing out loud, exactly, and not just blaming God for everything, also hiding behind God to do their dirt. Disgusting. Speaking of that, tomorrow we're going to talk about person who's supposed to be a priestess or whatever. She's been called to my attention for doing all sorts of madness with her congregation. Like she tries to control people in the congregation, and people like, Sandy, you need to expose her because she's not easy. I said, Lord Jesus, here we go. Dallas says, I agree, Sandra, but I am my father's daughter. I know. When you got a soft heart, it is hard. Me too, child. It's hard. But sometimes I'll be looking at them going, child, I don't get up every morning to support you. You help people, but then some people just, oh my God. Evelyn said, did God send her out to beg? Oh, my first lady said, can I get some of that breakfast? I know, right, girl? I'm enjoying it. I would be scared to death to have 4 kids. I couldn't provide for them. Debbie, even one? Geez, some peace. 1 is enough. I think 2 is an ideal number for other reasons, but financially, Lord, honey, child. I don't know, honey, child. They're not cheap. Every time I see a bill come in for school fees, my heart takes a little jump. I'm like, here we go again. And you have to pay in advance. They don't let you pay after the child got their education, The new term due before the term even starts. I'm like, yes, sir. I see that. Miss Aline said she missed the whole show. Hit that rewind button. Strong Wilt says do a pull-out so you won't get pregnant. Strong Wilt. You normally have some sensible comments. But can we tell you? Clearly the pull-out game around here is weak. That's not going to work. That is not the most effective means of birth control by any stretch of imagination. Do y'all need sex education 101? Y'all need Sandy to teach you about the birds and the bees? Come on now. Y'all should know better. No, sir. That's no. Rough Seas. I mean, not Rough Seas. Who was that said that? Strong Will. That's ineffective for more reasons than one. Nope. Vanessa says, I only have 1 child. Oh, Elaine says, I only have 1 child, and I was scared to have more. Everton says, and sometimes you ladies need to stop letting these guys lie to you, making empty promises and don't follow through. Stop laying down with these Pokemon. Oh my God. Pokemon, because what, they poking people a while? Lord Jesus. Point taken, Everton. It goes both ways. Maybe the men should take some responsibility, but of course, they don't ever have to take any responsibility because ultimately, they don't have to. They don't have to carry the child for 9 months, and they don't have to birth the child, and afterwards they go on about their business. But yes, please, do your best to pick some better caliber men to have relationships with, and even then, still protect yourself. If he can't commit to you, don't make him commit to, oh yeah, we can have a baby together. Oh, really? Well, how are we committing to each other? Now you don't have to get married. Now you can just go do a civil partnership. At least make him do that much. Here, Johan and his foolishness now. This is the game that separates the men from the boys. Yes, sir. Miss Aline says, just don't have sex. It's simple. Well, I ain't not gonna tell y'all that because I know y'all not gonna listen to me. Y'all gonna say, Auntie, you're crazy. Telling me not to have sex is like telling me not to breathe. That's what some of y'all saying right now. I can hear the collective. Sandy, don't say that. Not having sex, abstinence, that don't work. Y'all can preach it, but let's be very honest. I agree that for the most part, abstinence does not work. Look around you. Speaking of poking, look around. Old Pokemon or Dusty Man. That's what we call him up here. Oh, Everton, that's a new use of that word for me. Exactly, Gabby. That's what I'm asking if I need to teach them sex 101. She says, even if you pull out, you can still get a perspective. Did y'all pay attention to sex education? Johan, were you paying attention? Or are you playing with little girls in class and not paying attention? Playing with their little ponytails. The pull out don't work. Okay? Don't fool with that. Y'all don't even know how to monitor your own ovulation, much less. Siobhan says, I'm tired of people who claim to be Christians and aren't. If you say you're a Christian, then be exactly that. Don't claim to be and go around saying you is saying go around saying you is. Sigh, can't wait for tomorrow's morning. Lord have mercy. I heard that if you want to not get any, get married. You fool. And that was Johan, by the way. If you have sex and get women pregnant, then be a man and step up. Yeah, but you see, this is the problem. All of them out there, 20 babies in. How you know the kind of money he would have to be making to take care of 10, 15, 20 children? In this day and age, the average child is $100,000 plus to mine. And that is only if you're average, and y'all not trying to be average, y'all trying to be extra. Oh, you know? What y'all ever see the videos with the basic bitch? Like if you're a basic bitch? No, y'all be trying to be an extra bitch. You know? You got children, you still trying to live fabulous life, going out every weekend, nails done, hair done, bonker done, BBL, and all kind of stuff, and still having 1 million children? It can't work. Right? You can't have that lifestyle and have all these kids. Oh my God. Have y'all looked at the expenses that you have to pay every single month? I know y'all only want to complain about CUC, but hello. We got mortgage, life insurance, property insurance. Okay? Cars, they come with gas, maintenance, and insurance. We not even get to the children yet because you have to have all these things because you got to take the children places. So you need a reliable vehicle. You need a roof over their head, right? So you have all your utility bills, CUC, water bill. What your next bill is? If you have an apartment, maybe strata bill. Okay. Then you get to the children. You got to clothe them. You got to feed them. And some of them little greedy things, boy, they can eat. So, and oh my man, I don't want to eat that today. You cook food. No, I don't want no cooked food. Hello. So you got to feed them, clothe them. A little bit of entertainment money, because sometimes they might want to go out to dinner, go to a movie, travel. Some of them are involved in extracurricular activities. You got sports clubs. They need uniforms. They need shoes. They need little books and stuff for school. Hello. Sue McLaughlin says pure madness. Try keeping it all up. It ain't easy. Something got to give. Some of y'all need to give up the nail money. PG sex education classes and sessions, says Irvin. Gabby says, I'm not a Christian, but believe in Christianity. Having a belief, religious belief like Christianity don't make you a Christian. Two different things. Miss Aline says people gonna need sex insurance to ensure they're doing it without getting an old age pension. People gonna need what? People are going to need sex insurance too to ensure they're doing it without getting an old age pension. Say what? Health insurance alone, says Miss Debbie. Oh my God. And they're getting Brazilian hair on top of it? Lord Jesus, no sir. My God. Miss Darlene says, Sandy, why worry when NAU will pay? And unfortunately, this is what happens to a lot of our young people. They just not worried. Sandy, the reason they behave this way is because of NAU. They need to tighten up the policy. I have a feeling that young lady is one I gave notice to last night. Oh, did you kick her out right away though? Because they claim she lived in her car. What a hot mess. Anyway, honey child, my construction workers are here. And I need to go. I'm adding a new feature. I'm not going to tell y'all what it is yet, but one day I'll tell y'all. I'm adding something new and exciting. It's a new project, and I'm so excited. I'll let y'all guess one of these days what you think I've added once it's done. It's going to take a couple months to build. Elaine says they need a chastity belt and a rusty key. NAU also puts people in problems. What NAU needs to do is NAU needs to start sponsoring some of these, what do you call them? Tubal ligations. That's what they need to do. They need to sponsor some of that. Some of y'all guessing already. I see y'all. I wish I could get a new studio, Rough Seas, but no. Ugh. I feel like I should turn the back porch into a studio. I could like close it in. And anyway, Marlon's like, no. I'm like, come on, Marlon. I need more space, honey child. Nope. It's not a pool either. It's something more exciting. Honey child. I'm going to tell you all the story one day though, because it is connected to, it started with a pool idea. And then Lord Jesus, it went downhill from there. Pools are expensive. Talk about kids being expensive. Try and get a quote for a pool. Lord Jesus, no son. Sandy, put a budget, honey child. Oh, I wish it was an apartment complex, but I wouldn't build an apartment complex on my own house property because I don't want tenants around me. Nope. Sorry for them, but they're going to be living in my yard, causing no havoc. A she cave. Interesting. Hot tub. Oh, somebody done said it, you know. Somebody got it, but I'm not going to tell you who. We'll talk about it later. All right, folks. Y'all have a beautiful day. Please be safe on the roadways, and I will catch you all mañana.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online